All right, we are live. What's up, Chicago? We are right here on the Talk of Chicago, WVON. It is the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. Hold on, Charles. There you go, right there, flipped around. I know it's going to take a minute for you all to get here, but we will see you shortly.
See American Blues Theater's Beauty's Daughter, running July 7th through August 5th. This award-winning play depicts one woman's journey through life's obstacles in an East Harlem neighborhood, directed by nationally renowned director Ron O.J. Parson, and starring award-winning TV and stage actress Wanda Christine. The New York Times hails this script as wholly original and riveting. American Blues Theater, 1225 West Belmont. The tickets to Beauty's Daughter to AmericanBluesTheater.com. That's AmericanBluesTheater.com. Beauty's Daughter is a play you don't want to miss.
Hi, this is Cliff Kelly, and I want to talk to you about my friend Theodore Ted London. Ted London is a highly experienced attorney whose practice concentrates on estate planning. Staunchly committed to the community, Ted London has a solid history of providing help to a wide array of interests, including churches, community groups.
Did you see the Alderman sent that email out yesterday? Did you get mine?
About regarding
Bud Billiken?
Oh yeah.
And the rumors?
Yeah. She's problematic. Always has been. You know.
We're on. We're on.
Huh?
We're on.
Yeah, she's. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, she definitely pays attention.
Or visit him at his office at 1718 East 87th Street, Chicago. Let's face it, there are a lot of lawyers out there, but if you want a professional who truly knows how to protect you,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to Beale.
The Taste of WVON
Oh, dude, it's so.
Saturday, July 15th. Last year, our happy vendors served more than 40,000 people. Secure your vendor space now. Visit WVON.com and click the Taste of WVON registration banner. Or call 773-336-3441. That's 773-336-3441. Space is limited. Spread the word. The Taste of WVON is happening Saturday, July 15th. Insane Wayne Fields. The B-side. Hey, boo-boo, this is Insane Wayne. We do it Monday through Friday. Flipping the 45. Do you love your Dusties?
Hi, I'm Chicago's own Lisa Ray. Insane.
The B-side.
I want your B-side.
Like, if you really want to rock out.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Huh? The Lansing, the we want the actual assault.
This report is brought to you by Stand Up to Cancer.
I'm Tony Goldberg. 20 years ago, when my mom had lung cancer, she didn't have many choices. But today, you do. If you've been diagnosed with lung cancer, please visit standuptocancer.org/lungcancer to learn more.
WVON, traffic and weather, now.
Starting out with the CTA reroute now due to a fatal accident at Roosevelt and Castner. The CTA is rerouting the number 12 Roosevelt Road buses for a temporary time. They're going to be rerouted via Pulaski, Reed, whatever signage is in the area. Checking your early morning travel times. Off to a heavy start on I-57. That inbound trip from I-80 to the Ryan, 26 minutes.
So if you get an iced coffee
Yeah, go
at
ahead.
Starbucks and they put sugar in it, do you have to pay more?
No. Oh. 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 I don't know. Hey, y'all. What I need... Oh, let me go back. To everybody who is watching this, I need you to go on Facebook and share the broadcast. Right? Go back to Facebook and share the broadcast so we can expand the audience. You are tuned into the WVON Morning Show, y'all. I'm about ready to get it cracking. All right? Again, remember, I'm going to keep the music and commercials out so we can keep the broadcast up. So you will be treated to a lovely rendition of Wake Up Everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backwards thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world is filled. Y'all ready? All right. If you are out there, you know what, now I got to go to YouTube because I'm not watching y'all. Subscribe to Good Morning, Lions Den. Back was thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There's so much hatred, war and poverty. Oh, wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say. They're the ones who's coming up, and the world is in their hands. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. Na 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 na. The world won't get no better. What up, In the Zone? What up, Alvin Norton? What up, KM Milton? What up, Rob Payback Ellis? Shout out to Ebony Tillman. What up, Big Brother Kane? Sorry, Ebony. Midday, won't you make them happy before they pass away? Wake up, all. Time to build a new land. I know we can do it if we all lend a hand. We have to do is put it in our minds. Good morning, DS. Share the broadcast on Facebook. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. Na 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 na. The world won't get no better. We gotta change it, girl. Just you and Good morning, Chicago. Good morning, world. This is the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the studio. Charles, how you feeling this morning?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good, Maze. A little apprehensive, though, about, man, it seems like we're headed. I'm a little apprehensive. That's the word.
Well, why are you apprehensive,
man,
Charles?
July 1st is this big day, it seems, man.
It seems like D-Day for everybody.
Yeah, man, they're
July
working on this budget, man. But you know what really worries me?
What?
The soda tax, man. This soda pop tax.
Hey, man, we need that. We got to save the hospitals and the jails, brother.
Man, I'm telling you, man. But I tell you, man, I like soda pop.
I like peach Snapple, man. And it's scaring me, the fact that it's going to cost me a lot. We're going to have to talk about that. Charles, you know what? Let's get this started. Let's get this party started right. Let's start with, let me introduce my news anchor, Miss Annette Flournoy. Annette, how are you this morning? Well, you know what? I can't hear you right now, so we'll wait for that to come back to. Can we hear you? Okay.
Can we hear me?
Go ahead. How you doing this morning?
Good morning to you.
Good morning. What's going on?
Just a little bit of everything, just, getting buckled down and, tracking what's happening in Chicago as it unfolds. But yeah, so far so good. Got a big call, so we're ready.
There it is. Sonia Escobar, our musical director. How you feeling this morning, Sonia? It's going up on a Tuesday, my main man, Charles Thomas. Now, Charles, I want to encourage all of our listeners. You may enjoy watching the show, but not only should you enjoy listening to the show, but if you want to watch the show, I want to encourage you, go to the WVON website. That's WVON.com. And you can check out the live video, and you can see Charles and I broadcasting live on YouTube. Charles.
Yeah, man, that makes it really difficult because, you got to dress up. You just can't come in here in your drawers or nothing,
You know what, Charles? But you know what you can do?
Early.
If you come to the Taste of WVON, July 15th, you can get your trusty dusty What's in It for the Black People t-shirt.
Oh, then I can wear that.
Then you can wear that to work along with your socks
Now,
hat.
you got like maybe 15 different versions of that.
Actually, sir, I have 30.
30.
30, right? I had 30. I figured I could go the whole month without washing if I needed to. But Charles, I don't know. Did you see the news last night? Did you see? I got in my inbox, I have the most interesting inbox on Facebook in the world. And I got an inbox yesterday of a video of an off-duty Lansing police officer assaulting a young black man. Charles, it was a bit disturbing.
Yeah, because you think that this off-duty cop would know better given all that's happened, not only here in the Chicago region, but around the country. And there's a guy standing there with a phone video recording it or whatever on it, and the guy is looking he knows he's being recorded.
And he still said, man, you know what, Charles, let's go to the audio. You know what, we don't have the audio right now, but Charles, apparently this young man was now, first of all, this is in Lansing, Illinois, so let's take it out of the narrative of the inner city crime, and let's talk about nice suburban Lansing. And here's this young man assaulted, and he goes to sit down, and the police he goes to sit down, and he's hurt, and the police officer sees him, and he doesn't offer to help him. He attacks him.
Now my understanding is this young boy had been in a fight, and he's bleeding. So his friend, a young black boy, this white kid goes and sits on the porch of a house. His friend, a young black boy, goes up to aid him. The owner of the house, who's an off-duty cop,
assaults the young man.
He rolls up and says, "What are you doing on my property? You're trespassing." Speaking, I guess, to the two of them, he grabs the black kid by the neck and begins to choke him while he's talking and saying all these threatening things to the black kid, while the white kid gets up, gets his phone out, and starts to record what's happening to his friend.
I'm gonna just tell you, Charles, it was a frightening scene because I have a young man of my own, a son who we've put in was supposedly a safe neighborhood, and I would think that if he was walking, we would tell him he should be friends or hope that the police would be an ally. But to see this young man assaulted and choked out by the police officer who told him,
and not in a uniform,
who also told him he would freaking kill him. That he could kill him, which makes me think about the mentality of what's going on with these police officers. Charles, we got to do something. So I just want to make sure we call some attention to that issue. And we're going to keep a follow-up on that because I know Lansing, Illinois is supposed to be a safe place. Or is there a safe place for black folks? I just don't know.
But why would he pick the black kid?
What you mean, why? Why?
He picks the black kid to go choke out. And lets the white kid stand there with a phone and take a picture of it. You'd think that these guys would process information, that they just don't live and work in a racist vacuum, as apparently this cop does.
Boy, I tell you, Charles, it's hard out here for a black man. We'll talk about that and much more when we come back. It is 6:18 on the Talk of Chicago. Up next, traffic and weather.
More of the morning show. Mace Jackson coming up.
What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling this morning? Hope everything is going well. Let's see who is out there with us. All right. So,
what's the best link for that audio? Because all that's fine.
It's over. We're done with it.
The Confederate flag, I know exactly why they have them. Everything about it.
What's up, Raymond Hubbard? What Good Karma, who is that? Big Brother King says white friends are dangerous. KM, Nate Williams. What's up, Dexter Childs? Good morning, Michael Bullock.
This is Maze Jackson, host of the WVON Morning.
You can't hear who?
I've been the Monday commentator for the past 2 years.
Who are you talking about you can't hear? There was nobody on the line, Rob. What are you talking about?
For one of you to take
And I'm keeping the volume down because I'm trying to keep the broadcast live. So let me just remind that. Charles, I'm going to give you the camera real quick. Charles, you got the camera.
choose a topic that you're passionate about and write your commentary. Secondly, it should be about 2
I bet nothing happens to this cop.
or YouTube video and email the
I mean, I bet nothing happens to this cop.
Now, the deadline for submission is Friday, June 30th. We'll invite the listeners with the best entries to read their commentaries on the WVON Morning Show the week of July 10th. Then, I'll announce the new commentator during my show and on the Wintrust Soundstage at the Taste of WVON Saturday, July 15th.
Submit your commentary today in an MP3 or YouTube video link.
Dead air. Can't have no dead air, right? Can't have any dead air. Nope. There I am. I'm here. No dead air. I'm just trying to read, catch up with the news so I halfway know what I'm talking about, you all, you know? Yeah. Look at this, will you?
Talk to their doctors about the pros and cons of prostate cancer screening.
Yep.
And all men should tune in to the 3:30 Focus.
Yep.
Level Health. This week,
I don't know. I don't think anything's going to... If you can shoot somebody and kill them
that's the 3:30 Focus.
and you don't get convicted in America, I can't believe that this cop, anything bad is going to happen to him. Also complicated by the fact he was defending his property. It's just another example. File it away. Check your neck, protect your chest. I'm telling you. I'm doing good, King. I'm doing good, King. Yep. Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm serious though. I am upset about that soda pop tax, man. I tell you, boy, that's rough, man. I think that soda pop tax thing, that could be political dynamite. I mean, that could follow the Cook County Board President around for several months, at least several months, maybe on into the next election season, because it's like the straw that kind of breaks the proverbial camel's back. This fact that one of those dollar bottles of pop, big bottles, is going to cost you $1.67. That's a lot of money.
Whoa. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the studio. Charles, as we do every day at 6:20, we do our social media question of the day. And, I was out of the studio, and you were talking about it. And I think it may be the social media question of the day. Charles, July 1st seems to be D-Day. Yep. We got to get a state budget, but not only do we have to get a state budget, Charles, there is a new tax that is coming upon the people. It is the infamous soda tax. First of all, let me just say, I hate Michael Bloomberg.
That guy, the billion, he worth about $24 billion.
Coming out here, minding our business.
Yep.
Trying to take the nanny state to the next level. Take the nanny state to the.
What was that? What was that?
That was an echo, man. That was an echo.
Somebody else in here? There's ghostesses.
So Charles,
there's ghostesses in here.
I hear black people. I hear black people. Charles, this soda tax.
Yeah.
Talk to me about it. Give our listeners a break.
I mean, you know, we do it all the time. We go through the list, and we got about 8, 9 taxes, new taxes that either that Rahm Emanuel and Tony Preckwinkle have dropped on Chicago and Cook County over the last 6, 7 years, since the two of them have been this tag team on us. And the soda tax, man, it could take a bottle of those big bottles of pop,
2 liter.
2 liter.
Come on, talk
to
us.
Talk to me. You can go from $1 to $1.82 to with all the taxes, the sales and the sugar sweetened beverage tax that they want to impose on July 1st. I mean, come on, man. $1 to $1.82, and I think it might be the tax that really breaks the back of the proverbial camel. You know what I mean? Like, this is it. I mean, I think Tony Preckwinkle could be in serious political trouble because of this.
No, I doubt it.
Well, you know,
First of all, it's about healthcare.
You doubt it?
It's about healthcare. It
Here
is
you go,
about.
being sarcastic
It's no,
again.
but it's about health, Charles.
Man.
Do you know how many lives we can save with this sugar tax?
How many? How many, Mays Jackson? You brilliant. How many? You read.
I don't know, man. I'm just telling you what the lobbyists told me.
Yeah.
The lobbyists told me that this is going to save lives. That we need another tax to ensure that we do not overconsume sweetened beverages.
Now the president is also, President Preckwinkle is also the one who reinstated the penny sales tax that she used as a campaign pledge to get elected over Todd Stroger, because she said, oh, Todd Stroger put that penny sales tax. Oh, we got to get rid of him. So they did. And then she turned around and reinstated the penny sales tax. So a lot of folks, particularly black folks, said, whoa, why did you do that? Man, that was kind of lame. That was now.
But Charles,
we're doing the soda tax?
Charles, what I don't understand, you're a long-time veteran, so I want you to understand, help me understand this. So with Todd's 2 cents, we had the county, all the hospitals open. We had everything working.
That was a penny. Penny sales.
I thought he had 2.
No, it was 1. It was a penny.
And then, but we campaigned and we gave it back. We closed hospitals. We closed mental health facilities. We fired black people. And now we got this infinite tax that, what is happening? I don't understand.
Well, because I think what's happening is that the mayor and the county board president are tag teaming. They're tag teaming the people. And one says, okay, you get the sales and I'll get the water. You get you get the soda pop and I'll get the cell phone. I mean, that's what
somebody just, and they got Netflix now.
They get Netflix, and then the state
they're trying to get satellite.
Yeah, that's on the state level, but they're tag teaming us on the taxes as if we don't know. And then the president says, okay, if you give me this soda tax, I won't do any more taxes for another 2 years.
Ain't that right after you get reelected?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so you just told me that you got another tax increase you're going to put on us in 2 years, right?
But this is to save black lives, Charles. Doesn't this save more black lives? Aren't black people more obese? Don't we have more diabetes? Does it charge us really more for Wildwood?
But you know what's interesting?
Won't that save us?
You know what's interesting?
No.
The poor people depend on food stamps. Because of federal regulations, you cannot tax items that are sold, that are purchased purchased with food stamps. You can't add a tax to that. So they've got an opinion now that says, no, we can't tax those items that are purchased with food tax. So they have to exempt any sweetened drink that's purchased with a food stamp.
What about the ones they get from the Arab stores?
The poorest, that means the poorest people are not going to be taxed for the sweetened drinks they buy.
The ones that they're trying to save?
No, the ones they're trying to get out of the city. That's the ones that, I mean, I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, I'm saying this is ridiculous. It doesn't protect poor people, but it protects all of us middle class taxpayers.
Charles,
Homeowners.
I
People that buy their
disagree with you.
groceries with
See, I'm
real
starting.
money.
I think this could be a thing that could save a lot of lives. So, Charles, we seem to be You see, there you go. You one of them. I'm starting to worry about you, man. You're not sticking to the script. The script. This is.
What script is that?
The script that this is saving the poorest and the least of us, which happen to be black folks.
And they're the ones that are going to be able to buy their sweet drinks without paying.
They're going to buy it in Indiana when they get moved out. But let's talk about that.
No, I'm going to buy it in
I told
Indiana,
you we're going to have.
I'm still living here.
Charles, I told you. I say we ditch the radio. We start Mays and Charles's Last Chance store in Indiana. And you can buy your gas, water, air, soda pop, everything right there. Ladies and gentlemen, the social media question of the day. Do you agree with the soda tax? Is it a health issue or another way to shake down taxpayers? Give us a call. You know what? We're going to talk about that at 7 o'clock. Charles, it is.
What is it, Dave?
It's our diabetes, man. You know I got high sugar, man. It's to help the people with the high sugar not get high sugar. I'm telling you, Michael Bloomberg say you Negroes don't know how to drink.
My doctor says drink Diet Pop. Drink Diet Pop, Charles. That'll keep your sugar down.
Charles,
so I got Tony Winkle. What she got? My endocrinologist went to Harvard. I lied to you not. He went to Harvard and he tells me Diet Pop's all right. But Tony Preckwinkle, who went, where'd she go? And she's telling me, no, you can't drink no. Come on, man.
Charles, that's all I'm saying.
I'm serious about that. My endocrinologist went to Harvard.
That's you one of them special black people. You got endocrinologists.
Right. Who went to Harvard.
How you got endocrinology? You know what? That's a whole nother topic. Ladies and gentlemen, social media question of the day. Go to the WVON Facebook page. Leave your answers. We'll read them back online. Do you agree with the soda tax? Is it a health issue or another way to shake us taxpayers down? We'll be back after news, traffic, and weather. All right, y'all. Take a moment. What I need for you all to do is to take a moment and share the broadcast. So you can tweet the broadcast from the Facebook Live page. I mean, not from the Facebook Live page, I'm sorry. Please share the broadcast. Take a moment and share the broadcast. But can you tell me, let's take a vote. Is the Cook County sales tax a health issue or a shakedown? Answer it and I'll read your responses on the air. You're on the camera, brother. You're on the camera.
Saw this fine woman walking up here. What was it? Shakedown. I would say drink water, but that's tax too.
Do you agree with the soda tax?
Cigarettes, water,
a health issue or another way to shake.
Yeah, they just ran out of money to steal, man. They ran out of money to steal, so they got to come up with new money to steal. They ain't got no more money to steal. Now in a minute, they got the property tax up. Man, you know what's really interesting about the whole business of taxing water is that the reason that people move to this area is because it's by water. And that there's all this water. That's why Jean-Paul de Sable came here, is because of water. Water's plentiful. The fact that these fools are going to tax water?
Tamiko.
Oh my God.
So, to all of our followers and friends and family, there is a post. Ooh. There's a post on my Facebook page. Edit. Hold on. Delete post. All right, guys, go on my Facebook page and vote. I am going to Maze. I want you to go on my Facebook page and vote. Do you think the soda tax is a health issue? Do you agree with it? Is it a health issue or is it another way to shake taxpayers down? All right, y'all. Hey, Ameshia.
How are you?
All right, how are you, young lady?
Good.
All right.
Did you get a haircut since I last saw you?
Yes.
Ameshia,
I do it. I try to do it like every.
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Ameshia, we discussed one of your posts and we disagree.
What did you
We
do?
wholeheartedly disagree.
Oh.
You will be it won't work. Stay in the model lane. Don't try, right? Just stay where you at. Yeah, all right. Just don't.
What do you disagree with?
We disagree with Dr. Curves.
Dr. Who?
Didn't you post about Dr. Curves the other day?
Who is Dr.
You were at the doctor?
Oh! It's like, that is not that man's name.
That's a nice looking dog. All right, y'all. Take a moment, share the broadcast. So Ameshia, I gotta ask you since I got you here before we get started. Leslie Jones. Scoot over, son. Right. Okay. Leslie Jones, what were your thoughts on the BET Awards? And I just want to ask, since we not on the air.
What?
Do you think that the ugly tweets have helped her career?
I think that she would not have gotten asked to even be on the show without those tweets. Yes. She is probably the only person who's ever benefited off of being called unattractive by a large group of people.
All right, we back. God will. Yeah. Tell me something good. Tell me that you love me, yeah. Tell me something good. Tell me that you like it, yeah. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I am your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. And also, as we do every Tuesday with our Millennial Moment, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the studio, Miss Ameshia Cross. What's up, Ameshia?
Hey guys, very excited to be here, getting over a bit of a cold, so if I sound a little weird, trust me, I'm working through that process.
All right, now, Ameshia, did I hear somewhere that you are going to be sitting in my seat next week as we are out for vacation? Is that?
That is what you heard. See, the folks at WVON just don't want to give me a vacation.
Hey, hey, let me tell you something. It is those lacks of vacation that create opportunities. So take full advantage. I'm gonna tell you.
I take full advantage.
I would take full advantage because let me just be clear. I used to be like, dang, no, I cannot get on the plane for New Year's Eve. But I started to enjoy the holidays because I knew I had an opportunity to be with the #1 listening audience in the country. And so when you have the opportunity to share intimately with the microphone with these people, with our people, embrace it. Holidays, it will make your holidays better in the future. Trust me when I tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into the Talk of Chicago. We are talking to our millennial, the one I like to say got a little common sense. Ameshia, what have you got for us in the news this week?
Ooh, what do I not have? So this has been a very busy week. The AMA, the American Medical Association, is firing back very strongly against the current healthcare bill as it stands. In addition to that, CNN actually let go of three of their journalists yesterday, basically on a story that was not really a story that would have linked the president's administration to an unfortunate Russian situation that, again, was not really a story. And we have some news now that one of the leading cities around the country in terms of raising the minimum wage, Seattle, is really crushing under the burden of that at this point.
Let's back up though, because I got to understand this CNN story. So I just want to point out to all of our listening audience. First of all, Charles and I have maintained that there's no this Russia thing, but I just want to say that I believe that they are reiterating this Trump fake news narrative, and the media is going to crush themselves if they keep doing this. Go ahead, Charles. You had something?
Go ahead. I want to hear more from Ameshia in terms of what this story was about, and how it was determined to be fake.
Yeah.
So CNN definitely didn't help itself yesterday. 3 of their top staffers retracted a story. Basically, it was a story that linked one of Trump's top brass advisors to a Russian investment bank. And this story basically was one in which money was being transferred. There were conversations about confidential U.S. relations with Russia by someone who shouldn't have, had the clearance to have those conversations, but also with someone that was not necessarily seen as someone who should have received that information. Turns out that even though CNN was prepped to run this story, the investigative channels that go into it in terms of the source sightings and a lot of information around where they got the information was not tracked. So CNN decided to retract the story in general. This plays very heavily into Trump's argument back and forth about the fake news, about how the liberal media has continued to try to attack him. Granted, this story is not connected to the Russian investigation that is going on right now, but it does cast a shadow of doubt, one, over CNN as a network, but also over where they're getting a lot of the information from and if the right back channels are being taken journalistically before pushing the story.
Now, Charles, you've got some insight on that.
Well, apparently, in this particular case, there was a sighting of this Trump advisor, a guy named Scarabelli or something like that. I don't know. That's really irrelevant, that saw him greet a Russian investment banker at a restaurant. And all he did was acknowledge the guy. And they took that to mean that somehow there was some kind of conversation about collusion. And they really made a leap. Now, this story never was reported on CNN television or the cable network. It was on their website. And the allegation is that it wasn't vetted properly, and that's why CNN had to let these 3 people go. But again, I mean, if you have a predisposition toward trying to get somebody, you're going to put your investigators out to that task. And I think that's what the Trump administration will allege here, that they have a predisposition to going after Trump as opposed to really reporting facts. And
this is a story that should have never popped up, not only anywhere. It's one thing that it wasn't live on television, and that's great. But even for it to have been online and to have passed the brass that it needed to get there shows that there were some channels that just were not taken at CNN before even publishing that story.
You all, I guess my question is, do we believe that this is going to, is this furthering this Trump narrative? Like, is the media is their desire to get Trump so obsessive that they are going to eventually just make themselves irrelevant?
I think what's happening with a story like this, those Trump supporters will look at it and they'll cling to it. They'll say, this is proof positive of what we've been saying, that the media is out to get Trump. And it just basically solidifies their position that CNN is fake news, when CNN basically did everything that it could to correct the situation. But it's not going to help with the Trump supporters, whose beliefs are going to be solidified and hardened by this episode. That's all they need.
Let me ask you all a question. Do you think that this is... Well, you know what? I think I want to go to... Ameshia, can we jump to the Trump and the travel ban? Let's talk about that, because I guess what I want to really get to is Trump starting to turn the boat, right? Is he starting to win? Is he going to start to win this battle? I'm curious on your thoughts. So talk about the travel ban.
So Trump is actually getting some wins under his belt at this point. Going into the Supreme Court, basically actually standing up for and supporting a significant portion of the travel ban. For Trump's administration, as well as those who voted for him and those who are still his supporters, this is an extremely exciting moment. One of the things that he went around and did immediately after the announcement came down was basically not only tweeting, but reaching out to those who voted for him amongst his electorate, particularly in the states that largely voted for him, and basically talking about how much this has meant, how much, you know, economically it means to be able to not have people from certain countries allowed here, specifically around the engagement when it comes to terrorism.
You know, another point too we should make about Trump and his supporters. Scott Pelley, who is the anchor person at CBS News, is leaving, and he was one of the people that the Trump supporters really hated. They did not like Scott Pelley. They thought he was the most anti-Trump anchor person of the three major networks, and he's gone.
Why is he going?
He's leaving. You know, he taking another position. I don't get into all that detail, but they are trumpeting, no pun intended, as being another win for them in their fight to get rid of the fake news media.
See,
it's also a smack in the face for sanctuary cities. One of the big questions around this is what happens to those who are already here and those who are trying to get back to their country. So right now I'm
sure they'll let you go back. You think it's a problem leaving? I think it's just a problem getting in.
If the majority actually are doing business here, so it does present some type of difficulty there.
But I think those mass, like the refugees fleeing the war in Syria, those people are in trouble. They're not going to get here because they're just looking for safety, for refuge. Those people are going to be in trouble between now and October when they finally get this resolved, I guess, one way or the other, but they're not going to move.
And we know that things are heating up there, so it's about to be a lot harder.
A lot of people stuck in Europe who want to come to the United States.
And it seems like Europe keeps having all these bombs and explosions, which seems like they're going to be locking down Europe in a short amount of time. But my question to both of you, because you guys are a lot smarter than me, is, does it seem to you like Trump may be getting his feet under him? Right? I'm wondering, I mean, like as you start, if the media starts to get stripped back, right? So if you take out CNN, I don't really count MSNBC that much, right? Now you've got Fox, you've got these people. If he's able to bombard these two, is he able to really change the narrative and start to say good and have a win here?
We got to it's going to take a little more time.
I agree with that, but do you...
Well, yeah, he had some wins, but I think it's going to take more time.
The fact that Donald Trump is able to quake through anything right now, meanwhile being under investigation, having Russia still heavily hanging over his head, is phenomenal in and of itself. So we can't deny the fact that he is really pushing to get some things done. We're looking at the fact that he has devised and worked with Congress on this healthcare legislation. The fact that this travel ban is another feather in the hat for him. This is something that he ran on. This is something that he supported from day one. This is something he called a travel ban from day one. And I think that with what came down yesterday, right now, he's feeling like he's invincible and there's no stopping him.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into Talk Chicago 1690. We are talking to Ameshia Cross, our millennial moment. When we come back, we will continue the conversation. Up next, traffic and weather.
You know, that business she's talking about in Seattle, I didn't read that story. But that's an interesting story because that's
what they're trying to push here.
On the governor's desk right now.
Okay.
The only reason they're doing it here is because of the assumed success that was going to happen in Seattle. And Seattle is falling apart.
What's happening?
The businesses are laying folks off.
The what?
Businesses are laying people off in large number. They have shortened hours, so they won't have to pay the 15, you know. They have decided that they no longer need certain positions completely. So 3-to-1 ratio right now, it is not beneficial to
3-to-1.
And a 3-to-1 ratio of satisfaction for folks who thought that they would be helped by this $15 an hour minimum wage. The reduction in the workforce has really created a disastrous
3-to-1. Wait a minute. So what's 3-to-1?
So it is based on a research foundation, the National Economic Research Foundation. They looked at the amount of people who were excited about or interested in this new $15 an hour minimum wage 2 years ago and what that has done to them right now.
So is it only in Seattle or is it the entire state of Washington?
It's the entire state of Washington. They did a spotlight on Seattle because Seattle was the main city that all the other large cities were looking at when it came to $15.
So is this dysfunction happening in Seattle, or is it in the rest of the state?
It's in the rest of the state.
Not
the
Seattle.
the largest number that they're looking at right now is in Seattle.
Yeah, but I got to think that in Illinois, man, how could you pay $15 an hour along the Kentucky border?
It's not sustainable.
Huh?
It's just not sustainable.
I'll tell you how you pay it.
Huh?
You pay the kiosk repairman $15 an hour.
Right.
I'm saying you pay the kiosk repair. Look, I went to the McDonald's at McCormick Place during the expo for Today's Black Women. There was a line for people. There was 2 people, 2 cashiers, and 20 kiosks. Right? People was like, no attitude. And when they hand you the bag, they like, gracias. What is it? Thank you. How you say thank you? Because it was like, there was the machines, the Latinos, and now they're going to have robot hamburger makers. And it's going to be 2 Latinos that work at every McDonald's to say, thank you very much.
Gracias, señor.
Gracias, de nada. Hey, can I get you all? So I want you to share the broadcast on YouTube, but you know how on YouTube you can share it to tweet it? I want to move into the Twitter universe as well. And I just need to tell you how bogus you were yesterday.
How was that bogus?
That was some bogus. That was bogus as all hell. So yesterday, Ameshia felt as though she was propositioned by I love reading. Not proposition. He was,
It was real.
He suggested.
It happened.
Hey, there was a young man. She was talking to a young man, giving him advice. Apparently, he asked her on a date, but he was married, right? And so Ameshia says, I don't make it a custom to go out to have dinner with people that are married unless it's business. That's a great response. He says, well, how about in 3 months after I get divorced? Would that be appropriate time? She posted a picture and a screenshot of the dude and put the whole thing on Facebook. Remember,
to chase him away? Is that the point? Or what?
No, put him on blast with his wife, his whole family, everything. Like, she probably don't even know she getting a divorce.
She might not. Because on Father's, this is the part that kills me. On Father's Day, he had all the pictures of him and his family that he was sharing over Facebook.
You know, there's actually a website to do that on. Can you just imagine that visual? Someday you're watching the news and you're looking at this sedan and all of a sudden there's this little kid with what's in it.
I'm saying, what about his kid? Not y'all.
He should have put his kids first.
Oh, we back. We're back. No, doing it forward.
Yeah, more game than that.
And I'm ready. It's the remix to Ignition. Hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body. Got every man in here wishing. Sipping on coke and rum. Say, let's oh what I'm drunk. It's the freaking weekend, baby. I'm about to have me some fun. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. We are talking to Ameshia Cross in the millennial moment. You know what? We're going to jump. I'm going to tell you all. First of all, I hope everybody is planning on July 15th meeting us at Lorraine Dixon Park for the Taste of WVON. Now, Ameshia, are you coming? Because you know Charles and I will be broadcasting live. And we're going to want everybody out there. I'm telling Melody when we have our call that Sonia Escobar has to be out there in the building. Annette, we're going to want you there too. Yeah, I just need to tell y'all though, if you all want to see some real conversation, you really want to hear what goes on, you have got to go to the WVON website and watch this broadcast live, because you know, and I'm going to also encourage you all want some entertainment. Go to Ameshia Cross's Facebook page, because boy, the drama is real. Speaking of that, so let's move on to Seattle. You were talking about the minimum wage in Seattle?
Absolutely. So Seattle has been a standard when it comes to the raise the wage conversation. Seattle was one of the first cities to actually push the $15 minimum wage hike. Right now, Seattle is highly regretting that. The wage hike has resulted in crushing job loss. Many employers have decided to cut their payrolls by reducing their staff. Others have greatly reduced the number of hours that staff are allowed to work, in addition to the fact that several small businesses have actually closed. So the National Bureau of Economic Research is looking at Seattle and basically saying that this may not actually be the best way to get the nation on track when it comes to providing for economic growth for low-income families.
You know, we have to develop small business in the Black community. This has got to be our next big thing, our next big effort. How are we going to develop small business in the Black community if, in fact, we say to them, you got to pay $15 an hour as a startup? That's going to make it really difficult to do. And man, as much as I want to see everybody make $100,000 a year, the fact of the matter is, you talk to any of these small business people out here, you ask them, can you pay $15 an hour as a startup? They're going to say no.
Charles,
what are we going to do?
Having been a Burger King professional, a McDonald's professional, there is a finite amount of money that I need to pay for someone to make a hamburger.
Is it $15 an hour?
No, I made $2.85 an hour when I was making
that was back in the day. But do you think today it could be $15 an hour?
If I want to pay, if you want to pay $15 for the hamburger.
Not only that, but what about the manager of the place? That person's going to have to make it $25.
And then what about the tax on the pop?
The tax on the pop. I mean, it's incredible.
The fact of the matter is, and I think that you touched on it very well, Charles, is that once you elevate that cost, then you're going to have to do it for every other person who works there as well. So that includes management. That includes those who are the trainers of the management. You also have to, as Mays pointed out, increase the cost of the product itself. I know that I'm not going to pay $15 for a Big Mac. It's just not that serious. There's nothing new in it in 2017 than there was 10 or 15 years ago.
Can I dial this back just a second, though? Because we missed Charles's point, right? So if we need to do small business, let's say McDonald's can bear the weight. If I decide that I want to move into the neighborhood and open up a May's fish and chicken, do I have to pay $15? I can't afford in my startup to pay that and to maintain it. And then knowing that across the street, the guy who's got his friends coming from some other country can still pay them $1.75 an hour to make those fish and chips.
It's amazing. I mean,
I gotta pay the tax.
It's almost painful. It's painful because a lot of the people, you want people to make as much as they possibly can. But when a government imposes a rate, like these Rahm Emanuel and Tony Preckwinkle and these aldermen and such, they don't run small businesses. They are politicians.
Charles, you're starting to sound like a Republican again.
But I gotta be real. I just gotta be real here. Now you tell me if you put that right now there's a bill on the governor's desk to raise the minimum wage in Illinois to $15 an hour. You ever been to Southern Illinois, down around the Kentucky border? Man, you gonna pay those people down there $15 an hour in that economy? It's not gonna work.
If we're to use Seattle as an example, increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour across the state of Illinois will only push and further job loss and people leaving the state. That's what's going to end up happening with those businesses. Small businesses do not stand a chance at a $15 an hour minimum wage. You mentioned May's. If we're talking about and then going back to looking at Seattle, all of those family-owned businesses are now gone. They are desolate because there is absolutely no way that you can fund $15 an hour for an entire staff of people to run your business.
And you got to pay for health care.
It's done.
Ladies and gentlemen, I did not want to turn into Republican radio. I'm starting to think that the two people, even though they got on blue across from me, might be red. Because, we're not allowed to be, first of all, brother, you cannot be independent thinking in Illinois. You have to be blue or red. It is it. And you can't have common sense thought. But I just think that these are conversations that we have to have to ensure that our listeners are taking in all of it. Because, Charles, I would tell you that they would tell us that you're the devil for not wanting to pay more taxes, because they will tell you that gets you your drug rehab programs, that will keep your jails open, that will give you your hospitals, that will give you all of the things that keep you crippled.
And keep you dependent for next elections.
Because you got to say that. Ladies and gentlemen, as we do every Monday, Ameshia Cross with the Millennial Moment. Ameshia, now you all make sure you check out Ameshia. She will be filling in for Charles and I as we are vacationing. I think Charles said he's going to Denver. Ladies and gentlemen,
to the bud and breakfast.
Hey man, the bud and breakfast. You know what? We need to get them on the show. You know what? But stay tuned. We want to make sure you tune in this week. Ameshia Cross will be filling in for us as we are out of here and when we come back, we will be talking about this infamous soda tax and the social media question of the day. Now, Ameshia, if you want to hang out with us and continue this conversation, you're more than welcome to stick with us. But we got to go to news, traffic, and weather. When we come back, we'll continue.
That's interesting about that.
You can stay with us if you want to stay and talk on the soda tax, but you'll get in trouble by the time it's over because you know, watching. And you know, so now the new rule is, do not want to get in trouble, you are not allowed to share the broadcast. So they are now monitoring who actually shares and tweets the broadcast. Is that crazy?
They're doing a lot.
No, they are doing a lot, right? Like
that's a lot of monitoring. Is
right.
It that serious?
It is that serious. Okay, let me talk to our family. First of all, I want to tell y'all, thank y'all for making the jump with us. Linda McGill said, I just got a $6 burger delivered by Uber Eats from Fuddruckers. First of all, these apps are going to destroy minimum wage as it is anyway. And there's not going to be Robert, you got to change your name, bro. Because I'm missing you. What up, DS?
Oh, yesterday's story. Yeah, I missed it.
I'm telling you, when I was a lobbyist, they would pass any law, any fee, any bill, as long as our motto was, we'll pass any law you can, any law you need. I don't care how much it costs, as long as you pay us enough to cover the cost and make a little something. Right? And so think about the fact that in the midst of all this, you got ComEd, AT&T, you got businesses getting tax cuts. Right now, there are literally people getting tax cuts as we speak. How freaking crazy is that?
And the thing is, man, it's, but you know the thing about it, we have to develop a business community. We got to develop business. And this is going to stop us from ever having a businesses, which means that we will continue to be dependent on political parties for support of our politicians instead of our businesses.
Linda,
man, this is just a cycle that they got us on, man. This is some bad stuff, man.
I tell you. So, Linda McGill, and to our audience, I will just let you know that there are people that are very, very close to me who also are connected to politics. Thank you, Robert. Change it. But at this point, you literally can be in trouble if you purport to be a Democrat and you are sharing this broadcast and participating, you can definitely get in trouble. They will definitely bring it back if you share. I would just like to point out the win to our Facebook Live audience, or excuse me, our YouTube Live audience, as well as everybody that's watching us. I don't know if anybody saw the press release that was sent out yesterday by the Alderman, who said that they are no longer trying to, she said they never were. That was just a rumor. So if that was a rumor, the other thing that we need to see is, can we get the Bud Billiken back to its regular time, or are they going to try and cut it short like they did last year? Maybe we can get a response on that. Now, also to my den members, are you all coming out to the Taste of WVON? We need to have our own section. Who's going to get there early and stake out the spot, get our chairs, get our tables. We're going to get it cracking. We got our T-shirts, everything. We're going to do our thing. July 15th, the Lions Den, I want y'all to represent. Ameshia, what else is going on? Okay, we go back to Bogus Ameshia, though. Let's talk about Bogus Ameshia. Now, first of all, I want to encourage fidelity amongst everyone. Fidelity amongst everyone. Now, real talk. You are married, you should not be messing around. You should not. You should also be very aware of social media. Now, Ameshia, you was giving the man marital advice.
First off, as an unmarried person, I cannot give marital advice. As a never married person, I cannot give marital advice. What I was doing was trying to hear out whatever his random story was, because I've known this guy for a few years, but also because he just posted on Father's Day all of his pictures of his wife, his kids, and how happy he was. So now for him to be like, it's all falling apart and, you know, divorce and everything else, Father's Day was just this past weekend.
I'm just saying,
that's a huge shift in a few days.
This is what I'm saying, right? Okay, again, I like to entertain people, right? So this is a little entertainment. But have you remember the comedy, the thing about the who did it? Was it Chris Rock when he was like the thing in the glass, right? So you have to understand that if you spend too much time talking to a dude, right, he's going to and especially if you're talking about situations like that. If you allow a man to open up and confide about his significant other, he takes that as an open door. And if you are listening to his and you don't be like, I'm just telling you that there's always this thing out there that could it be? Maybe. Like in a conversation like that, hell yeah it is. First of all, no dude is coming to dump.
I'm with you.
No, I'm saying no dude. But wait a minute. So you gonna get on? So tell me, what woman are you having a conversation with about your wife?
You got to have. First of all, this social media thing is new to me.
Charles, like, hold on, before I get.
But brothers have got to understand that these are the perils of player. You're trying to be a player. You know.
See, he's talking that now.
No, I'm talking it now. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly now. But I think the brother got a lesson. He got a lesson.
Yeah, but that's a big lesson.
A huge lesson.
And
but the
thing
much
is, deserved one.
No, I ain't mad at you, Ameshia, because
Facebook. You couldn't have just put him in the chat. You couldn't have just checked him. You couldn't have been like, brother, you need to stay in your place. And
no. When this is a brother who is portraying himself a certain way on Facebook all the time, like he's dad of the year, like he's family person of the year, then you deserve to be checked. Then you deserve to be checked. At that point, you've created an entire narrative.
See, look, Ameshia would have took down Dr. King.
Ameshia would have took down a whole lot of brothers.
Ameshia would have took down Dr. King. Dr. King out there marching. He out there getting bricks. He needs some relief.
This is what you call a teaching moment. A teaching moment for all the brothers on Facebook. That's why you see me keep a very low profile.
That's not why you keep it very, because you ain't doing that. You ain't even in that game.
You keep a very low profile on this Facebook business because it's all kind of pitfalls and pratfalls that can come about.
Okay, we about to come back.
Because
I'm just telling you though.
These people really ain't your friend. You know
that was bogus as hell. I'm just saying. Think about his wife and kids though.
Right. He wasn't
thinking about his wife and kids.
He
wasn't thinking about his wife and kids.
Y'all wrong. Right for that.
He's planning 3 months out from his
She
divorce.
set him up.
Hey, living in the 21st century, doing something mean to it. Doing it to anybody you ever seen do it. So much power. Stop the hours. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. That song got me feeling some kind of way. I feel like I need to get on the mic, ladies and gentlemen. That is, when you hear that, that means that the commentators are about to kick off. Now, it comes on every day, 9:25, 20, and again at 11:55. But since I've taken on my duties as the host of the morning show, they telling me I got to give up the commentary. Now, I'm going to tell you, That commentary slot, it changed my life. What's in it for the black people was my very first commentary 2 years ago, and now I'm sitting in the seat. You got dreams, you got aspirations, you got something to say. You want to talk to the people, you want to let the world know how you feel. There is no better platform than right here. Now I want to tell you all, do you want to take my spot? You want to take the spot? You want the ring? You want the title? You want to do it on Monday mornings? Well, I need you to submit your commentary. Now you can do it on the MP3 or you can do it on YouTube. I would tell you do it on YouTube because, you know, get the visuals. I want to see it. I want to feel it. And then we are going to take it. We're going to look at it. And we're going to pick the best ones. We're going to have them come on the show, provide their commentary live, and we're going to pick the winners and announce them at no other place than guess where? The Taste of WVON, July 15th at Lorraine Dixon Park. Now, Ameshia, I see you over there with that notepad. You trying to get my spot? What you trying to do? Are you got a commentary? Have you put it together?
I'm just saying, plotting.
Here you go. I'm telling you, the clock is ticking. You got till June 30th to get it submitted. Go to commentator at WVON.com. Charles.
Can Republicans apply?
See, look, I told you.
That's a joke, y'all.
Look at that. I'm going to tell you, Charles. You have to be careful what you say on this show. Because if you say it, it will be repeated. Somebody will write it down, and you never know when they're going to bring it back.
So like Facebook, right?
It's sort of like Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, see, you know, I want to talk. We're talking about bogus. You know, we're going to bring this joke outside one day. You want to talk about bogus. You know, Ameshia, you on the bogus list right now. You are officially on the bogus list. I just need to tell y'all, you have to check out Ameshia Cross's Facebook page. You can also check her out on Twitter. But boy, you think I'm opinionated? You think I got something to say? That Ameshia Cross, boy.
Thunder only happens when it's raining. They love you when they play.
Ooh, Lord. Well, that player learned a lesson. You want to know about the joke? Check us out. We are on YouTube live. That's right. You can go to the WVON.com and you can watch us behind the scenes and you can find out how bogus Ameshia really is.
Now, baby, I'm in your corner. I think she had to do what she had to do and she did it. Now I'm down with you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, look, Charles just trying to protect. He like he don't want nobody to get no ideas. I get you, player. See, I understand you you a player from the Himalayas. See, you get on the ladies' side. Look, I was just trying to tell the brothers, you want a life lesson? You gotta check out Ameshia's Facebook page. Look, speaking of bogus. Let's talk about this soda tax.
Oh, man. Let's go get started.
So check it out. You know, today, the social media question of the day. Do you agree with the soda tax? Is it a health issue or is it another way to shake down Cook County taxpayers? Now, I do want to let you know that they are thinking about taking this up at the state level too, right? But this soda tax, it just seems to me that we are being taxed to death, and it's like people tax us with a smile. With no, I mean, we're getting attacked.
And you know, the thing about it is that the black elected officials are voting for this stuff time after time after time as if black people support it. I mean, I think people out there in the general community think that the black community is down with the taxes because they always say it's to help
healthcare. I mean, no,
some
mental illness
program or another, some dependency
drug
program.
treatment.
Yeah, or you know, just name it. They always use us to justify the tax. It's incredible.
The soda tax, back to your original point, Maze, I don't believe it's any more than a shakedown. What we know nationally is that states and cities who have taken on the soda tax have all since, the majority have rescinded those at this point. On top of that, we also know that health-wise, the amount of soda consumption across this country has gone down considerably over the years, period. Soda companies, beverage companies are now looking at that. So we know that, you know, people are looking at alternative things. They're drinking other things besides Coke, Pepsi, and all those products.
But they already got the tax on them.
So it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, so you tell But okay, so let me ask the both of you, what about the health issues? It seems like, so you know, when I lobbied, right? Well, there's always two sides to an issue, right? And so what you try to do is find the argument that resonates the most with your audience. And so they've come to black folks with this whole story of diabetes and sugar and taking down the health costs. But again, I want to know from the WVON listening audience, is that real? Like, and what is the soda tax going to fix? Like, what are we going to pay for with this tax?
I think that's a great question. We also have to look at who's the largest consumption of soda buying in the state of Illinois or across Chicago. To be honest, the largest consumption of that product in general is among extreme low income populations. The majority of those products are bought by people who are utilizing food stamps. Those products typically aren't taxed anyway.
Well, they won't be taxed under this rule anyway. I mean, they're going to be exempt. So if you're poor and you're on food stamps, you get to buy all the pop you want without the tax.
Which totally kills your healthcare argument.
Which kills your healthcare argument. So obviously that it exposes this as another money grab on the part of the politicians. What bothers me is the fact that they can't come up with any more creative ideas on how to deal with their fiscal issues than to tax, spend.
Okay,
hey man,
but look, Charles, sorry, the man. Republican thing, right?
I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent.
Black people cannot be independent in Cook County. Remember that.
That's not what Bernie Sanders told us.
Man, now, you see what happened to Bernie Sanders, right?
He's leading the Democratic Party, though he's not a Democrat.
I see, and not was in Illinois he wouldn't, because they know how to work. They've been working with the Russians for a long time. So let's go to the live lines. WVON listeners, do you believe this soda tax? Do you agree with it? Is it a health issue, or is it another way to shake down the taxpayers? And I'm going to tell you all, now's the time to let your voice be heard, because when I tell you they listening, they're listening.
They're listening.
All right, let's go to Rico. Rico, you're on the Talk Chicago, 1690 AM.
Good morning, gentlemen. I think it's a shame. I don't live in Cook County anymore, but you're paying for bags, you're paying for, you pay for stickers. You can't really win. I think it's not only a money grab, but I think it's a way to say that we're going to do what we want to do. And I think people are so lazy now that they allow a politician just to stay in office and do nothing. But they don't think they have any real power. And I don't think people understand the power of a vote, especially in our African American community. It's kind of sad. I'm 40 years old. I have a 13-year-old, and I would hope that when he gets my age that he's consciously out there at least voting for something of your choice. But you know what I'm going to do? I just won't buy nothing in Cook County. I don't live there anyway. I used to come there quite a bit, but I can choose not to buy something there.
Rico, let me tell you, Charles and I are opening a store. It's called Mays and Charles's Last Chance. It's going to be at the Indiana border. We're going to encourage you to buy water, pop, cigarettes, air, gas, everything that you have to pay 50 times tax when you cross the border. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. We are discussing this soda tax. Social media question of the day. Is it a health issue, or is it another way to shake down the taxpayers? You know what? I'm going to go to traffic and weather. When we come back, we'll take your calls. You are listening to Talk Chicago 1690 AM.
More of the morning show with Mace.
What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling out there? Ameshia, you got to join the conversation on...
I can't figure out how to...
Don't you just sign it?
Yeah, well, I think on phone...
You got to sign in. Do you have the app?
No.
Download the YouTube app. Go in through the YouTube app and do it. But the conversation is there, and I'm going to tell you the reason we're moving to YouTube is because the universe is much bigger. It's going to take, they calculate it a lot differently, but it will expand into a whole new world. We've already got the Russian trolls. Should we name the tax? We should.
Name the what?
The tax. And you know what else we need to start doing? We need to start slipping on bills. We need to make our listening audience start slipping like, you know how you can submit a slip online to say whether you support something or don't support it? We need to put that up and start telling people when there's an issue, slip it. So imagine if there was, you know, like in Springfield, they say these are the proponents, these are the opponents of the bill, and then before they read it, so legislators can hear who are the people that they give a hell about that are supporting or against the bill, because it helps them make a decision. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for tuning in. All right. Okay, slip. A slip is a piece of paper that they have at legislative bodies that people fill out to say they are in support of or against a certain bill. So at the beginning of a hearing, they read all of the proponents and all of the opponents. If you live in the south side of Chicago and they read a list of 200 opponents to a bill, then it will make anybody who is on the south side reconsider, right? Or if they see you support it. The thing is, most people don't know about the slip process. That's how things just get to slip by. So I'm suggesting that when we know big legislation is coming up, I will inform you of the slip, we will post it, and we will say whether we are for or against it. Mark, you also not only got to speak with your feet, you got to speak with your vote, right? Now, I'm not telling you to be a Republican like Charles, but what I am telling you to do...
Why gotta be all that, man? Why?
Because in this town, it's two choices.
I can't be an independent.
Because Negroes don't got... You got off the ABC plantation.
What?
You did not get out... You made... Let me see. So you got it off the plantation and you making it to... You still in the... You at Cairo.
I'm in
But
Cairo.
you in Cairo. You still ain't made it to Canada.
I ain't made it to Canada.
Right? It's still... And they still trying to pass slave catching laws.
Black code. They got the black codes.
They got the black codes.
You know, you couldn't vote in Illinois until 1870. 5 years after
Juneteenth?
the 13th Amendment. You were free, 13th Amendment, but you couldn't vote in Illinois until the 15th Amendment, which guaranteed the vote because they had a black code in Illinois that they did not lift, which you could not buy property, you couldn't do things in Illinois because they had a black code.
They got a black
It's
code?
history. You, even though you was free,
you ain't been
no
free
rights in Illinois.
You want to see the black code?
Black code. They had black code in Illinois. You could not vote.
Hey,
you could vote in Mississippi before you could vote in Illinois. I jive you not, because they had federal troops in Mississippi for Reconstruction that guaranteed the right to vote, but you could not vote in Illinois until 1870. 15.
Hey, Kevin. It's called Kevin Brown. It's called satire, buddy. Right? You know, we got to have a dialogue. One guy in, one guy out. Get it? Right? Then the lesson is learned. Got it?
See? Property tax, bag check.
It's all good, brother. I know what I'm doing. Come with us.
Chat, parking, cell phone, soda. What are the other taxes they put on us?
Streaming.
Antoine Dobson said it's still a black code.
The city has streaming?
What?
The streaming tax.
Oh yeah,
and what else? Cable? Did they
tax. Look, y'all. Look, Ameshia gonna get cut off the invite list. Let me tell you, Ameshia, you better stop talking on this show. You gonna get off the invite list. I'm telling you. How you gonna not invite Mr. What's in it for the black people to the DuSable? Really? Mr. What's in it for the black people can't come to DuSable Museum?
Of course not.
What's up with that?
That's for the Afrostocracy. The Afrostocracy.
You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I am your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. Annette Flournoy in the newsroom. Our musical director, Sonia Escobar, doing it on the music tip. And in the studio, I think we had to hold her over for our millennial moment gone crazy. That's right, we have Ameshia Cross. Now, I want to tell y'all, Ameshia, you are still on the bogus list. You on the bogus list. Check out Ameshia Cross. You can catch her on Facebook and on Twitter at Ameshia Cross. That's SHIA. So, because some people can't remember that. So when we went to break, we were talking about this soda tax. Now, you know, Charles, you was letting your red Republican flag go ahead.
You know what I did here? I went. We've done this before.
Run it, just run it.
But I got to run it. We got the soda tax coming up on Saturday.
Da-da-da-da.
Okay. We had the cell phone. We got the parking tax. We got the water in the bottle, the water from the tap. We got the cigarettes, the loose tobacco, the bag tax, the property tax, the streaming video tax, the amusement tax, and if anybody knows any more, but these are all since 2010. These are all in the last 7 years that we've got. Now, I want you, in all these taxes that you have here, how many taxes did the Republicans impose on you?
Oh, Kevin Brown said you forgot the garbage tax.
The garbage fee. I forgot that. The garbage pickup fee.
Well, could you do your thing? Sonia, could you get Charles his...
Help me out now.
Charles, this should...
On the cell phone and get taxed. Yeah.
More taxes.
Ooh, tax him. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into the top.
I'm telling you, man. Look at all that. That's happened since 2010. Now, how many of them taxes did the Republicans impose on you? Those pesky Republicans did it again. I tell you, man. Y'all may calling me a Republican. I just ain't a Democrat. That's
Kevin Brown said you forgot the 911 tax too.
911! Oh, I forgot the 911 tax, man. I got like all these tests.
Did you get the Netflix tax?
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, let's go to the live lines, Charles, because you are just a little bit excited. Dave on the Talk of Chicago 1690. What you got for us this morning? Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Dave.
You're on the Talk of Chicago.
Hey, how you doing this morning?
Great.
Listen, I'm listening to all these taxes that they're putting on the people, and out of all the taxes that they're putting on the people, my thing is this. When does the people get up and realize that what they call politicians are actually thieves and they're robbing the people? They talk about a law and they talk about terrorists. Don't they think that the way they're taxing the people should be against the law and it's terrorizing the people?
Economic terrorism. It is economic terrorism. And I think, and then when you take a deep dive and you look at the property tax system, there is an economic terrorism and apartheid that is going on against the black community.
And you know what? They always talk about taxing the rich. Name me one of these taxes that I just listed, these 12 taxes that are on the rich. They're not taxing the rich. They're not taxing the rich for the same reason the Republicans don't tax the rich.
No, they're robbing the poor.
They're robbing the poor. Thank you, brother. This is what's going on, man.
That kind of reminds me of slavery. No matter what, the slave master would make the slave take care of them, and the slave would never have anything.
We sharecropping.
Oh,
sharecropping.
Look.
Early 21st century sharecropping.
See, this. We getting to the line. Phone's gonna start ringing. We gonna get you getting real close. Remember we was playing
well, we got big trouble.
Look, okay, boss. I got your luggage. All right, let's go to Kathleen. Kathleen, you're on the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good morning.
I'm feeling a little poorer today.
I'm feeling poorer than you. Trust me. Yes. For sure, it's a tax on the poor, and if they really were caring about health, you know, as far as the food stamps are concerned, though, you know, there's no tax on that, and those are the people that buy the most of the sugary drinks, and you know, so what's going on is they're just taxing us, and I'm going to tell you what's coming up next.
What?
They're going to tax us for breathing the air.
Yeah, we already got that.
I'm getting some scuba tanks and going to Indiana, filling them up and coming back.
No, it's ridiculous. And all of these taxes that they're giving us, you are absolutely right, Charles. They're coming from these Democrats. And the sad part about it is, it's the black ones.
Oh, yeah. They're the
ones. Who's doing it. You know,
they could. The black ones could stop every one of these taxes. They could have stopped every one of these taxes.
They don't want to, and they tax poor people. They try to run us all out of Chicago, but I'm going to stay until they blow it up. And that's just that. And you know, Maze, I think I am going to sit in for the commentary, because my commentary is, what about me?
Oh, I heard that. You know what? Can I tell you something, Kathleen? Kathleen, I'm going to tell you something. What's in it for the black people started out with what's in it for me? I just realized that it wasn't just me. There was a certain way that black people in business got treated. So even as people run around and as these politicians and as people trying to discredit me say, well, he ain't really asking what's in it for the black people, he asking what's in it for me. Well, the fact is I am black people. And I am one of the black people that has been disenfranchised from this process. Let's go to Kathy. Kathy, you're on the Talk of Chicago.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to just make a comment that you guys had Toni Preckwinkle on recently. I don't recall, and I did try to listen to your entire interview with her. I don't recall you guys asking Toni Preckwinkle about all of these taxes.
Oh, you crazy? You need to re-listen. You need to re-listen. I'm still in trouble for it.
Let me just ask Leslie. The penny tax came in under Toni Preckwinkle after she campaigned to say, "Oh, Todd Stroger is, taxing us to death." And as soon as she won the election on that lie that she wasn't going to do the penny tax, here we had the penny tax. And you said these taxes, a few minutes ago, you said all these taxes have come under in the last 7 years. That's been since she's been the president of the Cook County Board. So, again, you mentioned them, but you didn't just hit hard hitting, say, how are these taxes beneficial to black people? What's in it for the black people with these taxes? All she kept talking about is, well, the healthcare system is different now under her regime. But every one of these taxes have come under Toni Preckwinkle's leadership, and I just don't think you guys hit her hard enough, like you're talking about it today, and just stayed on it and made her accountable for it. Like, how is, if you're saying this is for health benefits, and the poor people who receive assistance to purchase these things can still get them?
Thanks, Kathy. You need to watch the video, because she was looking up. We asked them questions. It was looking for the papers. That's probably where the papers come in. And I think actually, if you listen to the question, we did ask her what's in it for the black people.
We got in big trouble for that. We got in big trouble for that.
Right, they still trying to
get us for that.
Right.
Watched that interview twice, and she was hit pretty hard.
Okay, Ameshia, Ameshia. Now look, don't let Charles and Mays get you in the black box. We want to see you aspire. Right? You keep, so all I'm saying
My comment to the caller, though, was going to be that any Cook County Board president gets nothing passed without a large portion of the Cook County commissioners who exist in that body. So if you're going to come down on Toni for any reason, you also need to look at the Cook County commissioners who voted and approved those taxes.
And the mayor. But, the patty rollers is out for us.
You ain't going to be able to.
This lady said, talking like, man, hey, the patty rollers out for us. They're looking for us. They got the dogs out, everything. And we're on the run. Me and Mays, we got to check under our car and everything. The dog,
And overall, the question we should really be asking, because we know that in order to balance budget, you either cut programs or you raise taxes. If the progress is, okay, we're going to raise taxes, what improvements have happened across Cook County to actually benefit from those raised taxes?
I got to stop you guys right there. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to Talk Chicago. When we come back, news traffic after news traffic, and whether we're going to talk about the Illinois state budget. It looks like the clock is ticking. Boom! Will we blow up or will we save it? We'll be back.
They're paying all these pensions off, man, but they're paying your pension. They're paying for your pension.
No, they ain't.
They're paying for your pension. They're paying for your pension.
I'm not a government employee.
They're paying for your pension.
They're paying for my pension.
All y'all's pension out there.
First of all, I ain't on the public dollar. I've been an entrepreneur.
I'm being facetious. That's what I'm saying. They're paying for all these pensions out there. Who got a pension? That's my question.
Where's the people marching? Where's my girl Christian McQuarrie? She said, where the march for that? Where the march for the taxes? Okay, y'all gonna stop with this fried chicken stuff. I think we just need to play fried chicken every day. Look, Alvin Norton said fried chicken. Wait, is there such thing as a tampon
No.
A tampon tax?
They're trying to get the tax taken off. Go with the movement.
Ooh, I think it should be a tax on tampons. You gotta have a special garbage can. You can't flush them down. Ooh.
Watch yourself. Be careful, boy.
Costco is much better than Sam's. Just like to point out, yesterday I had the steal of the century at Costco, and I finally got my patio set. So we gonna be on the rooftop with a fire.
Have you read the owner of Costco? is a decent human being.
Yeah, I saw him on.
Yeah, I mean that guy's a decent human being, man. He needs to be supported. He takes care of his people. He ain't out trying to make gazillion dollars.
Who is Stay Focused Media?
I don't know.
Y'all, I need y'all to like let me know who it is. Good morning, family. What's up, Reese Mo? Like, so some of y'all don't have the same name since you've transferred over to here. So you got to tell me.
I don't have the same name either.
Are you C. Holly? Oh, what up, Edward Muhammad? All right, brother. It's good to see you. The family is here. What up, Kenneth Briscoe? What up, Erica? Erica said we need a tax song like the fried chicken song. We need to make up some jingles. That like we should do some jingles and some we need some more characters. We need a power to the people, Ungawa Black Power black man that comes in and tells he tells it straight black, like the mad black man, the black news, mad black news.
Like David Wayans used to play on.
Sort of, yeah. Like the mad black news. So you take a story that everybody, you rewrite it to the black people. So what it does, the white man had taken the brother from
captain from Africa, from the West.
And now he is pissed at the highest levels of pistivity. Yes. I'm telling y'all, man, when we get through with this show, I'm telling y'all, by the time, when everybody is in their car on their way to work, don't you want your kids to, I know you tired of hearing your kids listen to the, I know when the highlight ring. No, actually, I like that song. But I know you got to be tired of every song in the morning. Smoke, suck, eat, do. God, how would you love for your kids to go to school in the morning with their brains fed, like with them thinking about stuff, and then when they go to school and the white teacher tries to take them down, they have the self-esteem that they need. Look, man, you need to be playing us in the morning. Inspire your kids. And if you do not watch the show, because I know everybody's sleeping late, now you ain't got to take the kids to school, so you chill out. That's why we in the summertime numbers. Take a moment and watch the replay. Watch the replay. Damn, Kevin, you got all the lists. $50 extra a month, payment on car leases. Right, Antoine is saying, again, yesterday, your ass, Ameshia, I can't answer the questions, and I can't answer all your questions and watch the broadcast. Devil.
I was trying to multitask. I was cutting off the broadcast. I was like, stop asking.
Who is C. Holly 52? What up, Yolanda Yo? Thank you. I'm glad you made the switch. What up, Maurice Newman? Who is your sister for life? I don't know who that one is. What up, Amina? Mark Full of Love. Maurice Newman, Alvin Norton. What up, Ebony Tillman? Ebony, are you watching us on the big screen? You better be watching on the big screen. And tell the Alderman we said hello, good morning, Madam Tillman.
A saltine check.
Alderman Tillman, I was tuned into you on Saturday. I'm not going to be listening to you on Saturday mornings because I need to keep my energy levels down on the weekends because I'm too hype all during the week. But she had me ready to come drive up to the station on Saturday morning. Like, if we wouldn't have had the black mass graduation, I would have been up in here like, let me sit in on this show. Because I got black. That had me cracking up. Amen. I'm telling y'all, these black folks starting to be black. It ain't no reason to be scared to be black no more. Dang. Hater. The hate was real. That was bogus. That was super bogus.
Lesson.
Huh?
A lesson.
You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I am your host, Mace Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. You know what, man? We didn't kick her out yet, even though.
Didn't kick her out.
We didn't put her out yet. We still having our millennial moment with Miss Ameshia Cross. I enjoy when Ameshia sits in the studio with us. However, you are still, Ameshia, on the bogus list. You know, Charles over here playing.
She's on your bogus list.
Look, Charles, look at Charles.
I'm
that's
down with her.
That's the low key play. See, let me tell you,
No,
it's always the brothers. It's always the brothers that side with the women, right? Yeah, baby, don't you worry about him. Then the next thing, I got your back, baby. What that old baby?
Let me talk to
Charles, are you Charles? You seem like you. Are you in the deacon? Are you?
Is that what Goldie said?
You know what? That's what. Did you learn that in the deacons? Are you in the deacons? Are you in the deacons club? Is that what they say? Come here, girl. Let me lay some hands on you. Let the Lord. Come here. We need to take you for some extra prayer. Let the Lord help you. Kneel down. Let me. You know what?
Watch yourself.
The club church, you know, it ain't. That's real church, actually. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Don't mind us. We just offend everybody at this point. But hopefully, you are having some good intellectual conversation. Now, we've been talking about this soda tax that comes about on July 1st, but that is not the only deadline we are facing. Ladies and gentlemen, in the state of Illinois, we have gone 3 legislative sessions without a budget. Now, we've gone 2 years without one.
Is it? Yeah, I think it's 2 without a budget. We're entering the 3rd year without a budget.
So we've gone 3 legislative sessions completely. First, second, and third. So here's what you've got is your legislator, the Illinois General Assembly, is coming up for election, having not passed a budget in the last 3 years. Now, what we're doing now is overtime, so they're actually getting paid extra for not doing their job for 3 years in the House. They also were not getting paid at one point, but they sued to get the pay, but we still don't have a budget. But apparently now we are at the fiscal cliff, and I actually think something's going to happen. You know why? Because white people are about to be unemployed on July 1st. And
you know, they have reached critical mass. I think even the Senate president has announced that his chamber will not do a stopgap budget. Now, that just might be talk, but if they don't do a stopgap budget, that means schools can't get funded. Road projects, that means those
we already passed the lockbox
union.
I thought we passed the lockbox, man.
Well, they're saying the road projects will stop, and that means that the operating engineers will stop working, and that's one of the big unions that doesn't hire very many black people, but they won't work. And those guys, man, when they start pressuring, you know, the Democratic Party, I mean, that means there could be some movement at this point.
There had to be more pressure on more folks than just those who people see as living at or below the poverty line in order for things to really start moving here. We know that the folks who got hit the hardest and hit first were those who were utilizing social welfare programs. That just, you know, that's just what happens when there is any state budget crisis. Now, when you start moving into those who are affected in the middle class, you're going to see a quake and a shift that is a whole lot quicker. It's really sad we're going into the summer. Again, we're going into the 3rd session, but we're also going into the summer where there's expectations that our gun and gang violence rates are going to increase. We know that. And there is no real place for these young people to go. CPS barely had enough money to fund its own school year.
They don't. No, they're borrowing money.
No after school programs.
At outlandish rates, they said that are like payday loan rates, pretty much.
We're in a very bad situation, and I think that everyone should be looking at our state legislative body, not just the governor, mind you, because the governor, our fiscal crisis isn't the governor's fault. Let's be real. We've had this issue for years, kicking the can down the road.
The Tribune editorial board did a very enlightening story, and I am very often right now in the party. They want to say that I'm a Republican or that paid by Roundup, but that's really not the case. The fact of the matter is, this has been going on for years and years and years and years. Remember all of the projects, all of the extra money. Then do you remember when Governor Blagojevich said that our legislature is spending money like drunken sailors? Blagojevich gets a very bad rap, but Charles, I think even he saw it back when he was there, that we were just spending money that we didn't have. And people don't realize that every year they always passed a budget that was a couple $2 billion over.
Right, and you know, this problem actually goes back to that string of Republican governors who were in Illinois, who led Illinois until 2002, when Blagojevich, I mean, there were like 25 years of Republican governors, Thompson, Edgar, Ryan, and they were signing off on these bogus budgets as well. So you can't, I mean, that party certainly is not absolved of any guilt. It's just that it's distant history as opposed to recent history.
What's the common denominator now?
The common denominator, what would it be, do you think?
I mean, how many people were elected then? I mean, I guess my question is, who were the people? You know, so first, obviously, they would say the speaker, but I would say, let's look at the tenure of the members in the Illinois General Assembly. Let's look at when was the last time that a balanced budget. And I worked in government. Well, I didn't work in government, but I lobbied during the Quinn era, right? Mm-hmm. And there would always be this thing where they would give him a budget and say, you make the cuts. Here's a bunch of money. Right. It's short a couple $2 billion. You pick, we're going home. Well, how does that then add up over the years to where we are now? I feel like there's all this pointing to just Rauner when it's like everybody is responsible.
You need to question the tenure of those who have been here through various governorships. Because you know they've outlasted that process, but also their level of foresight. I think that is very problematic when you are considering balancing budgets or looking at the fact that Illinois hasn't really had a balanced budget in a really long time. It can be really frustrating because there were flags years ago as to what would be happening now.
Why do you feel like all of this, both of you, that the black community just seems that our legislature does not seem to be pushing for black issues throughout this?
I just think they've been so emasculated by the process.
Emasculated?
Yes. I mean, they
Could you break down that word for me, please?
Well, that means that they don't have any more, they're not virulent. I mean, they just don't have any power. They've been stripped of any real power within the system. Like, for instance, who is the go-to black politician on the budget right now? Give me an
We had him, Donnie Trotter.
You got to be kidding.
We had Donnie Trotter.
Yeah, but he told us he was in a defensive mode. He actually said that they're defending more than they are aggressively being. I mean, is anybody from the Black Caucus really involved in the discussions? I know there's Madigan, Rauner, Cullerton, and you have the two Republicans, Durkin and Redonio, who are in these meetings. And then Madigan has allowed one other lawmaker, Greg Harris from the north side of Chicago, who is a gay, his claim to fame is that he is a gay lawmaker. He really pushed the gay marriage initiative. He is in on the talks, but what black elected official is in these budget talks, even though black people are paying the highest cost of any group in the mix, and our schools in Chicago are at critical mass, and no black person is involved.
Well, let me tell you.
Directly in the talks.
Does anybody watch Meet the Press? So George Will was on Meet the Press, and he made a statement, and he was talking about national politics, but I think it resonates with us here in our situation. He said, poor people, I'm going to just replace poor with black. Black people are not organized, articulate, or well-lawyered. He said that, he didn't say black people, he said poor people, which is why they've been getting their butts kicked. And I said, if you take poor out, because really when they talk about poor, the narrative poor people is black people. So let's just take this statement. Black people are not well organized, articulate, or well lawyered in the political process. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I tend to agree, but we'll talk about it when we come back. It is up next up next traffic and weather.
More of the morning show.
You know, when you first hear that, it sounds offensive just because. But I think when he says articulate, he meant they're not able to articulate their causes and have a single focused message.
I don't think they. I think they certainly have the ability to articulate them. I just don't think they do.
Well, I think he was talking about the masses. Like, and so because we don't articulate a clear, concise message to the black, like we haven't given the Black Caucus what our marching orders are. We haven't articulated it up to them, and they just picking random. But when everybody else comes, they got an agenda, a lawyer, and they got some dough.
I don't think he has to change any of what he said, because I think that that is clear and poignant, and it is very it is very much what's happening. And when you say poor, yes, it obviously includes black people, but it includes rural America as well. And when you talk about these two specific populations, there is no cohesive voice. Yes, people have issues, they have their problems, but when it comes to driving an agenda, we don't necessarily see that happening. There isn't a list of demands. They don't have lobbying power. That doesn't.
I mean, who lobbies? What black people even lobby?
What organizations do you have standing behind you, like the LGBT community, like the Latino community, like these other communities that exist across the country?
But we have votes.
And what good has that? What good has that done for our communities?
But
we have ignorant votes.
But we have votes that don't, that are not respected by our political leadership. They don't respect our vote. They know they're going to get it anyway because we're going to go out there and vote for them because they're black. So they just ignore us and they go for the money, which comes from the lobbyists.
Well, in Chicago, we vote for them because they're black, but largely we vote Democrat regardless of whether that Democrat is black or white. Right. What we don't do is force their hand when it comes to actually seeing change in our communities, development, holding them to the fire when they're in office. If you aren't holding folks to the fire after they actually get in, the expectation they will do anything for you is greatly diminished.
Well, that's what's happening now. They're not doing anything for us. Like this whole budget piece, they could end this thing yesterday. The Black Caucus, if it held together, it could end this thing yesterday. If they wanted a black Speaker of the House in Illinois, they could have it. They could have it right now because the Republicans would vote for a black Speaker if his name is not, they would vote for a Democrat whose name is not Madigan. They would do that. Because they have nothing to lose.
My question would be, though, even if you replace the speaker with somebody else, if those other things aren't in place, the tangibles, if you don't have a legitimate political agenda, if you don't have the structures in place to drive that agenda, just changing the face is not going to make that much of a difference.
True that, but I'm saying that, but that is an example of how they don't exercise the power that they have. It's very, that's way oversimplified. The fact that they could elect a black speaker because they could elect, Clarence Thomas. I don't know, but I mean, that's oversimplified. But if you take that power and translate it to issues, you could set the agenda with 31 lawmakers down there, 21 of them in the House. You could determine anything basically. You could go say on bills. You could horse trade using your 21 votes, and they don't horse trade. They don't do that. They wait to see what Boss Madigan wants them to do, and then they do that.
There's also a fundraising entity tied to it. And as long as there's money and power associated with, that standing beside things that oftentimes hurt your community, our people are going to sell out. Most don't have the funds to significantly go out here and do it themselves. Right. So here they are. And, quite frankly, I don't see that changing anytime too soon.
Well, maybe they have to
till the well runs dry.
I know it's awfully naive to say it, but money can't be the determining factor.
You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I am your host, Mace Jackson. Got my man. Hey guys, we're back. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. And that voice you heard in the background is our millennial with, I like to call her our millennial with a little sense. Ladies and gentlemen, Ameshia Cross. Yeah, we talk about this state of Illinois budget, and I think the whole thing comes apart. I think the wheels fall off the whole joint if we don't get a budget passed this go.
But I was just saying to Amina, Ameshia, I'm so sorry. I'm reading one of the Facebook entrants here, but that if black politicians, particularly in the House, stuck together, they could set the agenda. They could resolve this problem right now. But they're doing what the party wants them to do as opposed to what the community wants them to do. Black lawmakers in the Illinois House of Representatives could end this thing right now if they came together and said, this is what we want, and this is, no, why are you shaking your head?
No, I have talked to legislators, and they have told me that there will not, it's not that simple. That there are leadership requirements, and the way that the rules are written, if the leaders do not want the issues to come to the floor, then they will just bury them.
I mean, they can squash them in the same way that we see happening at the federal level when you're talking about Congress. And the leadership power structure there is often believed that black elected officials have more power than they actually do when they're down there. And I think that a lot of that is because they wield it in their own little fiefdoms. But when it comes to actually, being a voice in those rooms that matters and driving policy change, there are very few who have that.
Well, maybe you should focus on the leaders. Maybe
you can't touch the leaders. But how do you touch the leaders?
Well, maybe when they vote for the Speaker of the House at the beginning of the session, then maybe that's when you assert yourself and you make sure that the leader is someone who is going to be amenable to the needs of your communities.
Charles, I think that...
Does that make any sense?
I mean, it makes sense if we didn't live in Illinois.
So
no,
they gotta vote for...
The fact of the matter is, Charles,
they gotta vote for the
I declare my allegiance. I am black in Illinois. I have no choices. The only thing that I can do is follow my leadership off the cliff. That's all I can do. Because, right, we don't organize in another way. See, here's the thing that the legislator, a legislator told me. He said, for everything that you're talking about, Mace, for every time you get up and say what's in it for the black people, and no matter what the state of black folks is, black people still gonna vote for us and vote us back in.
And that's the thing, like, there has to be, if we're talking about, disruption and what we're seeing on the federal level, everybody trying to move away from and push away from Trump, there needs to be disruption right here in the state of Illinois. If you're going to be disruptive, if you're going to carry on the conversation of what's in it for the black people, when are we going to get certain gains in our community, when for decades we have seen situations fail across the city and across this state, you're going to have a population who not only is fed up, but is organized in being fed up and is ready to utilize that in the vote. Because as long as you continue to put the same people in who are not creating any change for your community, who are not going to Springfield and being your voice, to be honest, you get what you deserve.
So you are basically agreeing that with what George will said, which is black people are not well organized, articulate, or well lawyered.
Well, he said poor people, did not say black people.
Okay, but it's applicable.
I do think it's applicable, and I don't think that people should take it as take it personally. I think that when you're talking about people who are in impoverished states, it is expected that you will not be organized. And now you're starting to sound like
Ben Carson. Are you saying poverty is a state of mind too?
For some people.
Oh,
look. Well, I think there's plenty of articulate people. I think there are articulate.
How come who's articulating?
I think that when you're talking about being able to be articulate, it's not a form of how you speak. It's about the level of engagement, what level of attention, and who you draw when you're doing.
What is our message? What are black people? I keep asking. And so I say what for the black people, and they want. I want to understand literally. Like I just feel like somebody should be able to answer that question. Now maybe. The fault of ours is, as the voters is, we don't tell them what we want in it for the black people. But I think to do that, you're gonna have to at least elect someone who recognizes they gotta listen to you. We see people are more scared of everybody outside of our community than the fear of our internal.
Okay, we have black politicians on the federal and state level who are on the federal level who are talking about...
They're not meeting, they resist.
They're talking about Russia. They're talking about... Auntie Maxine is really talking about Russia.
Don't forget Kamala.
She's one of the most strident voices we have, and she's talking about Trump needs to be impeached because of this Russian situation. Then locally, we have black politicians standing up and advocating for a sanctuary city, a sanctuary state. I think it's this brother on the west side. He's co-sponsoring a bill on sanctuary city.
It's passed already.
What's in it for the black people on sanctuary city? Tell me what's in it for the black people on sanctuary city?
Hey man, billboards. We get them billboards. We get bus benches. We get an ad campaign, and you get to be 100% African American on the. You one Chicago, man. What's wrong with you? See, man.
Where in Chicago is there a one Chicago?
You trying to get
the systematic process?
But going back to my point is that where do they talk about issues affecting black people?
Well, you know what? It's funny
they talk about the party's issues.
It's funny that you say that, because coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking to 9th Ward Alderman Anthony Beale regarding there's some crime issues going on. It seems like it's a little shooting in downtown. And now they want to change everything up. But Anthony Beale says, why is it different when it's a shooting on the south side? Now we want to change it up. We'll talk about that when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Talk Chicago at 7:59. See you in a second.
Is he coming up at 8:30 or
8:35?
8:35.
So Beale is on this one though. Hold on. I just want you to look at it.
No, I read it.
I had one of those classic moments yesterday when I called Alderman Beale's office. The story had just come out in the Sun-Times, like it wasn't even online for like 2 minutes.
Well, I read the story. Yeah. I know. I read your boy. I see you, boy.
It wasn't even online for 2 minutes, so they had no idea he was down at City Hall making news. So they're like, "What? Why do you want to talk? What did he do?" And so I had to read the story to him. Like, oh boy.
See, I think a couple things. One, I think that, first of all, I think we're putting pressure on people to actually have a record for black folks. Two, I think with everything that has happened, with the shootings, the murders, you putting another brother on blast on look, now you're going to put him on YouTube. Don't tell me you're going to make a movie too. You're going to make a rant.
I'm just,
I
am reading all of these support messages I have gotten from women about this situation because it happens. And some men need to be caught up. Yeah. Because if I hadn't, let's say that he goes out and he makes it like I was doing something to him. No. I do not chase married men. That is not I don't chase men in general, let's clarify. But definitely not those who have rings.
Look at her. She be dating them snowflakes. Them snow bunnies.
But I don't chase them.
Ooh. Like, look, she leaving here to go to Bottle Blonde, y'all. She about to leave here and head over to Bottle Blonde. Oh, Misha, I'm still tripping on that one. All right, so let's see. Let's see who we got out here. Okay. What up, Nate? What up, Ebony? So here's the thing I would say, right? And I know everybody's going to have beef. But my thought is this. When someone does take a stand or a step, right? And quite frankly, the alderman that Beale is addressing operates as a bully in city council and really tries to roll over the black folks 99.9% of the time. We'd also like to point out that we should put out have we seen his Trump photo shoot? Because remember, he was trying to be a Trump guy until it wasn't popular to be a Trump guy. Remember, he was. So my suggestion here is, guys, for me, I like Anthony Beale on this issue because I just think that we shouldn't close the Ohio ramp because white folks is getting because it's shootings downtown. Man, we gonna spend all these resources and change up the whole game. If we had to shut down every street somebody got shot on, there would be over 600 roads closed. No, homie, you trying to protect and Ron don't want to answer the question. Hey, Ron, but I think the bigger question in this 8 o'clock hour is, are we starting to see, do our elected officials feel pressure black elected officials, are they starting to feel pressure? Not necessarily from us, but with the police shootings, the police contract, with all of these things, are you starting to feel the pressure or the need to have to actually vociferously represent your people? There's like, you think about the water department, you think about all of these things, and are you coming, can you afford to keep coming up from the rear, right? Are you going to be a more proactive person? State budget, city moves to protect downtown. So what we had, we had the Riverwalk shooting. This girl got shot at the overpass. There was the assault. Where was the? Do we put out a white patrol to protect black people from being assaulted by white folks? Did they release a new? Did he ask for a license committee to talk about discriminatory practices as it relates to patrons being able to shop and eat downtown? Did you know, because from what I'm hearing that there could be very soon a class action lawsuit against the city from black promoters and promoters, restaurateurs, etc., because there is a concerted policy downtown to prevent them from owning and operating establishments.
I'm surprised it's just now happening. I mean, that's been going on for years in this city.
I think the fact of the matter is it has been going on for years, but I think, like, now we're starting to, like, when you're 25, 26, 27 and this happening to you, you're kind of like, man, you just move on. When you're now like 35, 40, 50 and you got some money, you got some resources, and you got some connects, and your guys have raised up the ranks and they've become lawyers, and they like, wait a minute, this is some bullshit. And we can all band together and stand together and really have an effect, right? Right now, I think that it's part of the conversation that we were having yesterday about our generation getting skipped over, right, with the millennials. I think that what you're seeing, well, we got skipped over. I think that the old folks held on for so damn long, like they holding on with knuckles, they gonna die. And in the process, there's now more people trying to grab onto the bar. But instead of the people that are, so you got the old folks hanging up and occupying all the spaces on the bar. Now they letting go one at a time because they dying off, right? So now as people are jumping up to occupy those spaces, ordinarily the natural progression was 10 years ago, my generation should have been jumping up and grabbing those, and these people should have been letting go, right? And been there to catch us.
And that's how it
but now you're seeing the millennials jumping at the same time as my generation, because we sat back and waited. The millennials are like,
because we were taught by your generation not to do that.
Right, because we waited on these old mugs, and now look at us. Now they don't let go, and now they gonna die, and all we gonna have is arms and sleeves hanging up there, and but they still think they doing good because they've protected their pensions. See,
y'all gotta get rid of them, man. Y'all gotta be more aggressive about getting rid of them. That's why I would, like, your guy asked me yesterday, how come you're run for something? No, I can't. I mean, you gotta be somebody coming up that your age that can do this. Not me.
The problem is, like, honestly,
no, I'm serious. I mean, but I could be supportive.
Yeah, but I think,
and I'm much more valuable as a supporter because I can't hang out long enough to really be effective.
So the thing is, if you get into the process, if you get into the party, right? Because I wanted to do politics, but black politicians are more scared of young black people.
But you are doing politics.
Young black people are driving.
All right, y'all, it's time. Ameshia, if you're gonna stay, you gotta do some yoga. All right, you're on. You better do some.
I can't do the yoga dance.
Well.
I'm my own private dancer. One out there. Baby, bend over. Baby, bend over. Baby, bend over. Let me see you do the yoga. Baby, bend over. Baby, bend over. Baby, bend over. Let your booty do the yoga. Head but the world on my shoulder. Bend and never break. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I am your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building, Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, and our musical director, Sonia Escobar. And when you hear the yoga song, then you can best believe that we are at the 8 o'clock stretch. It's like we got just a little bit less than an hour left. And you can also guarantee that Charles Thomas is doing his downward dog. See, now I'm telling you, if you want to see Charles Thomas doing a downward dog, you want to see Ameshia trying to fake yoga, then you got to watch us on YouTube. Go to the WVON website, WVON.com, and you can watch us live. Now, I want to also remind y'all, they trying to fire me from being a commentator. They said, Maze, you're doing too much. DTM, as my daughter calls it. Dad, you DTM. I said, what you mean, Melody? I'm DTM. She said, Maze, you're doing the morning show. You're all over the place. You got to give up the commentators. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm sensitive about the commentator because it's where it's where I feel like I finally got to ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And 2 years later, I'm sitting in a chair.
Man, why don't you just admit it? They fired your ass.
How you gonna get fired on your day?
How you get fired? I'm like, how I get a job and then get fired from a job? You know what, ladies and gentlemen, but that's how it goes right here at WVON. Charles said they fired. You know what, man? It's all right. So let me tell you what you got to do. If you want to, since we got a vacancy, if you are interested in being one of the commentators, you need to write a commentary, 275 words or less, record it to an MP3. I would tell you probably need to do it on YouTube. Email it to commentator@WVON.com, and then we will select. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to be harsh judging because I think they need me still. I think they need me still to be the commentator. But that's all right because Mondays, you will be the fire. You will kick off the week. Now, Ameshia, I see you over there with that notepad. You got that smug look on your face. You make me nervous because I'm already telling you, Ameshia, you on the bogus list right now. So y'all better watch Ameshia. She got some stiff elbows. I think Ameshia gonna climb the top of the pole. I
do not want to be associated with the pole.
I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna miss you, commentator. We're gonna miss you, man, because you have done some great commentaries, and I know you're going to continue to do them.
Well, I'm going to probably do commentary some like on the ChicagoDrum.com, but I think we're going to take it to a video place. So stay tuned. I'm not gone, and I still got a lot of opinions, but I think it's time for someone else to assume the man. Hey, I'm going to tell you all. Being a commentator, I could walk down the street, my Facebook would light up, every time the commentary came on. And it's an opportunity to share. I just think back to Lou Palmer, brother. And the legacy of Lou Palmer and having the opportunity to carry that same title. So I just want to encourage you all, don't, if you think you got it, submit it.
And it's so important to get new voices involved.
New voices involved.
That's what you have been, a new voice. And you see what difference that's made. We need all the voices we can hear.
I'm just here to let y'all know I already had contact with the Russian government, and this thing is going to be rigged in my favor.
Let me tell y'all, I don't know no Russians. So since I don't know no Russians, I'm gonna tell you, I want you all to submit. Now check this out. After you submit, we will select the winner on June 30th, and I hear we are going to announce the winner at the Taste of WVON. One more reason you've got to be at the Taste of WVON. I called El DeBarge, so Shelly, our girl Shelly, is his manager. I called her and I said, hey, El DeBarge, I know you got all the women coming. I know you love me in a special way. Look, check this out, bro. I just want to remind everybody, light skin is not back in. So I don't care how much props y'all give Elder she get his 2-hour show and back out, and dark skin is back. I'm just telling you. Taste of WVN, you do want to be there. Charles will be there. Ameshia, I expect to see you there as well. Now, Charles, we were talking, I don't know if you've seen the story, but there have been a rash of shootings and violence in the downtown area. We saw the sister get sucker punched. We saw Bottle Blonde. We saw 2 shootings in the Riverwalk, as well as a shooting at the end of the Ohio Bridge. And now apparently Alderman Brendan Riley from the 42nd Ward has decided that he wants to shut down the Ohio Bridge. What in the heck is going on?
Man, if you're going to shut down places where there have been shootings, man, that'd be half the city of Chicago would be shut down. Right?
So, you know,
Brendan Riley has a lot of nerve. I'm sorry, but when you're looking at concentrated violence in certain areas of the city, when we have not seen that level of response, it has not drawn that type of ire. And you're talking about isolated incidences where you want to shut down whole areas of the downtown, because now it's a travesty because it's happening in the middle of upper middle class white folks areas. That's a problem for me.
But Alderman Riley had a response to that, because let me just say that when first of all, very interesting that there was an ordinance passed in the Finance Committee to shut down the end of the Ohio Bridge where it dead ends. Now people go there and they use it all the time, but there was apparently a young woman was shot there. So they had it in Finance Committee yesterday and they passed it out. And Alderman Anthony Beale, who's the chairman of the Transportation Committee, where it should have been, stood up and he pushed back. Now, we're going to be talking to Alderman Beale at 8:35, but I thought it was interesting that, to Ameshia's point, Alderman Riley, quote, "I'm certainly not here to trivialize the deaths of any individual who is shot in Chicago, regardless of what color they are, what neighborhood they live in, or where it happened." Then
where is he when gunshots go off in Inglewood or in Auburn Gresham or in South Chicago? Where is he on those issues? Because I've never heard Alderman Brendan Riley speak out on any of them.
And Alderman Burke, who is a former police officer and chairman of the Finance Committee, who basically is greasing the skids, if you will.
Can you break that down? That seems like a pretty old analogy. We have a.
Well, I mean, he's running this measure through finance, the Finance Committee, as opposed to
what that got to do with some finance?
Nothing. I mean, but Alderman Burke is a friendly voice, and he's very supportive of this effort by Alderman Riley to get this done before the end of the council session this summer. He's basically fast tracking it through the Finance Committee, which is a very powerful committee that Alderman Burke is, of course, the chairman of and has been the chairman of for many, many years.
Charles, I guess I'm a little confused here. We're over 300 shootings right now. Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen
300 murders right now.
1,600 shootings, and I haven't seen a street closure longer than the time it takes them to pick up the body and the gun casings. But now, because it's downtown, we have to shut down the street and shut down access. Hey man, we talking about white money. Green money, white power, black lives don't matter. We're going to talk about that and much, much more when we come back on the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. Give us a call, 773-591-1690. Get in on the conversation.
Morning Show with Mace Jackson coming up.
All right, y'all. Now, this is the same guy who was criminalizing black folks earlier. Do we have a picture? Let's see. I thought he was down with Trump.
Very small. Weekdays at 9.
Here, I'm about to give you some. Maze. How y'all doing this? Okay, first of all, y'all, I'm doing a little research online. Can y'all do me a favor? Take a moment and share the broadcast. Tweet it. Share it on Facebook. So take the broadcast, share the link on Twitter and on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on Instagram or whatever you got. Please take a moment, share the broadcast. Now, it's different than on Facebook because all the links are at the bottom of the video. Please take a moment and share. And here, Ameshia, talk to the people because I'm trying to do research. Talk to them.
Hey, y'all. So, extremely excited to be here. Obviously, we have a lot of great conversation. Looking forward to what's coming up with Alderman Beale. I think that it's very important for us to do a little bit of revisiting previous conversations, specifically around the response to gun violence when we're talking about areas downtown and areas that are not necessarily African American centric. When we're looking at and when we want to see a more fruitful response, I think that we need to hold people's feet to the fire. It has become commonplace to see gun violence on the south and west sides of Chicago, so we don't necessarily see the same reactions as people do when it happens downtown. It's also a very different population. When we're asking what's in it for the black people or we're pushing Black Lives Matter, there has to be a realization that in this city, in many cases, we see on a daily basis that they don't. When we're looking at an alderman like Alderman Riley, who can issue a statement that, you know, he essentially cares about violence regardless of where it's happening in the city, but his actions don't line up with the message, we need to ask why. A ton of Caucasian aldermen who represent north side areas or downtown areas are voiceless when it comes to the gun violence that happens across the city, specifically on the south and west sides. And it's time that, you know, we bring that to bear as well when we're questioning what's happening in this city. If we're truly looking at a One Chicago campaign, we need to look at the fact that Chicago looks very different depending on what side you actually live in and what color you are while you're living there.
Oh, you still got a little bit more time.
Hey, that's the truth. One Chicago is an interesting campaign moniker, specifically right now being used to support sanctuary cities. And on a personal note, I don't really have a problem with us being inclusive. What I do have a problem with is when that inclusivity automatically ends up being a form of lash out to another community. When you have a community that is suffering at the rates that the African American community is, and you consistently see that progress is happening in communities that aren't ours. Progress is happening for non-citizens of this country. When you see the level of suffering that is happening for blacks on the south and west sides, there's a reason for folks to question what's happening in our city, and it's very valid. One Chicago is a farce.
Boom, 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 boom. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I am your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, musical director, Sonia Escobar. You know what? And we got the bogus millennial moment. You bogus for this week. Bogus millennial moment of the week. We got Ameshia Cross in the studio sitting in with us. And before we went to break, we were talking green dollars. What was it? Green dollars? I had a good one before we went. Anyway, we are talking about what is happening downtown. You know, there was a murder in the downtown area. Now they're talking about closing streets. 42nd Ward Alderman Brendan Riley teamed up with 14th Ward Alderman Ed Burke to push an ordinance through City Council Finance Committee to basically close the overnight close the Ohio Street underpass. Now, the Alderman Anthony Beale from the 9th Ward pushed back and said, how come when black people, well, he said people of color. When we get him on here, we got to ask him about that people of color stuff. But he asked, why doesn't it happen when black people are shot? Charles, you pointed out that if we closed the street every time someone was killed, there would be 1,200 streets shut down. Ameshia, you said that this guy was not the champion of, where was he during the punch out?
Nowhere to be found. No comments whatsoever. Where has he been during extreme police brutality? Where has he been on a variety of issues that have involved violence against blacks in general?
Yes, you know now.
His absence speaks volumes.
Well, he gets involved in some black issues.
What black issues does he get involved in?
Wasn't he the one that really got those ads going against Ken Duncan during that legendary State House campaign? He was the one that had Ken Duncan like Criminal of the Year.
What does he have to do with Southside politics?
I know.
It's like, it seems like we got this thing going on where these people feel like they can interject into our community when they want to at will, say what, take what, and then, so he's suggesting that he's not recommending that we take resources from places where they need to be. He's saying he wants to give additional tools. Has he suggested any additional tools for the places? Now check this out. They got three incidents, 2 of which black people most of them was black folks, right? So I guess, but the one thing that I thought was really interesting and I thought was important was that Alderman Beale, in the chairman of the Transportation Committee, actually stood up. Now, I'll be honest with you, Charles. In city council, you gotta have a little bit of testicular fortitude to go up against 2 of the most powerful Irish elected officials there. Alderman Burke is by far probably considered the most powerful member of the city council right now. And then if you look at Brendan Riley, he brings a lot of money in from the downtown. And, you know, they kind of run roughshod.
You know, I got to give, Alderman Beale, who I've known for some time, he has taken on some pretty tough customers at City Hall over the years. Now, he's had his votes with the mayor at times.
Who hasn't?
Who hasn't? But he does take on some tough customers. You know, remember, he took on the unions on Walmart. He took on the unions in a big way when it wasn't popular, when you could really get your head cut off, because he took on the unions to get a Walmart built in his ward. He also has another it's this soap plant down there. I can't recall the name of it right now.
Oh yeah, they sell all the stuff at Target.
Yeah, he's
Method.
Yeah, Method. I mean, that's a non-union plant, you know, and he went to bat for that. And when
the taxis against Uber.
He took on Uber, and the mayor's brother, of course, is one of the big investors in Uber. He took on Uber. So Beale isn't afraid to go at these people, and that's to his credit. So I'm just stating facts.
So, you know, Charles, this is the one thing I'm gonna say, right? So beat up, and not beat up. I think we have made it our mission to hold our black elected officials accountable, and I'm gonna stick to that path no matter how much trouble it gets me in. But
me too,
right? I think, but when we do see someone push, then it's time we got to talk about it, right? We got to be able to support that issue, right? Because I think this allows us a foray into this whole nebulous world, the connect between the police, the aldermen, right? And so,
and you know what? When the politicians come in here, I don't care if it's Tony Preckwinkle, I don't care if it's Marcus Evans, whoever it is, they score points with me. They score points with me because if they're going to talk to the WVON listening audience, and these are the most, this is the toughest crowd you can find in Chicago.
Lord.
When they show the courage to come in here, that's points. That's points for them. They got to understand that this isn't where you're going to get beat up or chewed up by the lions. You score points when you come in here.
And you know what? Here's the thing, WVON listening audience, and I've seen a lot of the comments, and a lot of people have a lot of things to say. But one of the things that we have to do, and I hear this all the time, is we got to support our people when they do take a stand. So here's the thing. When you take a stand, there is a cost. There is a price, and they will exact it upon you. Whether it is they take away access to resources, whether it is they try to punish you, right? See, there's not a... White folks don't feel like they got to negotiate with black folks, particularly in that arena.
Because historically they haven't had to. If your economic value is not directly associated with the progress of another community, then the value of you actually engaging with that community to build is not there. They know that they can do it without black people and have consistently done it without black people. It allows for a, continued progress and of exclusion.
Well, see, and here's my thing, right? So, I'm not an activist, right? I'm a black person trying to help move black folks forward. I don't claim to lead nobody, none of that. But what I do believe is that there is an awakening happening in the black community, and I think it's infectious. I think that this awakening is not just happening to the black folks that are on the radio or out in the audience. I actually believe that there are people that are listening, understanding what we're talking about, and starting to recognize you got to push for black folks. And I think whenever you have an opportunity to push, now I got some other issues, right? We got other issues we got to deal with. But right now, we got an opportunity to deal with this issue, and we need to. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we'll be talking to Alderman, 9th Ward Alderman Anthony Beale. He said some interesting things. He said, why they don't act the same when black folks get killed in the neighborhood? Now, he didn't say black folks. He said people of color. So we're going to have to get that right. But when we get through, we are going to continue this conversation. Stay tuned. You are listening to The Talk of Chicago. It's 8:30 up next. News, traffic, and weather. Yeah, man. So here's this one. We need Anthony Beale to come back and be in the Lions Den. But right now, real talk. Straight up. Do you understand what it's like to go in the pen and say something about Burke and about Riley? Let me tell you. Them dudes walk around that son of a gun like they straight be talking to people like what they be telling you. And not so
Ain't no dead air.
Huh?
My broadcast going just fine.
Oh, no.
There ain't no dead air. You just hear it.
Oh, yeah. There is no dead air. Guys, we've turned off the... But I think when you look at how he... Hey, man, this the dude who was walking around talking about what he was going... Sending messages to my wife. You tell your husband, telling people what he's going to do to her and him and me. And I'm like, who you think you are to be able to just talk? You feel free, you could just walk around and tell people what you're going to do. But see, the Ken Duncan thing, but that's my thing. These dudes walk around down in City Hall like you niggas better not say nothing. Exactly. You ain't supposed to look me in the eye I'm supposed to do like this when I walk by. I'm going to stand up. Right, and I'm telling you, I saw a dude the other day. You go dead in the eyes, and I just think that these gentlemen think that they can say and do anything to black folks because we ain't gonna do nothing. And I just think Anthony Beale, by taking a whack, you can't leave him out there. Because if you leave him out there, then they going to come try and take a whack at some of that.
Well, a historical civil rights Emmett Till marker is vandalized.
Yo, and I'm not saying that people are always right, but it's like this. When my brother is fighting, when my brother is fighting my cousin, it's me and my brother. But when it's me, my brother, and my cousin, we fighting everybody. You got to understand that it's like we going to have internal scraps. Right? But we cannot allow our internal challenges to give people outside of the community the opportunity to destroy us, right? So at the point when someone stands up, we got to learn how to circle the wagons if the point is correct, right? If you standing up for the right issue, then we got to circle the wagons. Now, we might have to whoop your ass inside the circle, But they not gonna do it. And that's my point. We got to build some unity between black folks, and we'll deal with our own. You got to be more scared of what's gonna happen. You got to be more scared of what happens to black folks from black folks than white folks. Please. Y'all got the camera.
They talking that gangster. He's talking gangster now, see. He's talking about that gangster stuff. You know how they fight all the time, you know, that group.
They came at him and he came back strong.
Yeah, man, they fight. They fight, man. We got to fight. Did you see that before the BET Awards? What was going on between these guys? They were all fighting each other.
No, I know that after. I know that at the post thing.
At the post thing. That's what I mean. Right.
And that was ridiculous.
Chasing the brother down. Like, what are they doing? What is? You got to be kidding. They were fighting. What were they fighting about?
Sometimes my people.
Are they fighting about because somebody said something about somebody in a song? Is that what it was? I mean, they're fighting with women apparently. A woman, Nicki Minaj
yeah, so
or
they're
whatever.
fighting over this. Mind you, this was Nicki Minaj's ex.
Ameshia about to get kicked out the Young Democrats.
This was a whole other man. So when your two exes are fighting about you, it's kind of comedic.
You mean
but it's
two
also,
exes were fighting? She got a whole different man.
Yes, she's moved on two times.
What was up with these Negroes fighting at this BET Award thing after the after party?
What happened?
Oh man, it was terrible. These rappers were fighting.
Migos, I heard Migos was whooping somebody.
Migos and Chris Brown got into it too.
Yeah, they got. Yeah. But these Negroes
and the cops
fighting
got
about.
called. Migos told him up though.
I know the Migos whooped Chris Brown, man.
What they fighting about?
Hey man, we got to reinvent the
the
war shows ain't no fun if don't nobody get
This
killed.
is self-hatred, man.
It's foolery at its best. I mean, when you talk about black
they got
people,
so much dope in them when they doing them shows.
I want to see my people rise. And it gets really annoying when you can't get through an award show without somebody busting out.
That's why you gotta be like, you don't want no problem with me. Even though I think someone was.
We know. We saw the eyes. We all saw the eyes.
Like I was like, your mama there to make sure you don't relapse. Cause golly, I was
you were
looking
talking
like,
about how the host eyes were bucking. I saw his. It was like,
whoa! I said those eyes, and then I took it down because I was like, you can't speak on that in Chicago. They'd be like,
well, I mean, we already know what the situation is. You can do good and still have your own personal demons or whatever you like to call them. Doesn't negate the fact that you're doing good in the hood. But yes, there are some other issues going on there, and they were clearly evident.
Right. Audrey Tanksley, you said it right. They all high on Percocet. I mean, think about that. Show respect. There's a whole song about Percocet.
Max off.
Black.
Molly Percocet.
Charles, it's you.
That's my choice. Heard about it, talk so very much about it. That's where we belong.
You are tuned into the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I am your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas. Now, Charles, I'm gonna leave this one to you, cause
hey man, that is the last of the great Chicago doo-wop groups called the Shepherds. They dropped that about 1959, 1960.
Where you know this from, man?
Listen. That is a brother named William Bunky Shepherd produced the Shepherds, the last of the great Chicago doo-wop groups. Man,
ladies and gentlemen,
could bring it, man.
You are listening to the Talk of Chicago. We are playing songs that only Charles knows.
No, some of the WVON listeners remember that too.
Okay, so
I woke them up.
You woke them up.
I woke them up with that.
I'm gonna say, Ameshia, I think we can agree that we. Do you know this song?
I've never heard this song before.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was clear. I just want to make sure, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I hope this is this an iconic group, Charles?
Huh?
This is an iconic group, is it?
They're iconic in Chicago.
Oh, Chicago iconic.
They're a Chicago iconic group, yes.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the live line. We've been talking about this conversation about the Ohio Street underpass being closed. the Chicago Tribune's Fran Spielman reported that it touched on a racial nerve in City Council. To give us some insight on the story, ladies and gentlemen, we have Chairman of the Transportation Committee and 9th Ward Alderman Anthony Beale. Alderman, welcome to the Talk of Chicago. How are you this morning?
I'm wonderful. Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to have you, Alderman. So, Alderman, give us your take on what's going on with this Ohio Street underpass.
Well, first of all, I just think we're overreaching, and overreacting to, something that is happening in the white community. We have problems in our community every single day, and we're fighting to solve a lot of those problems. And, now we have something that happened in the downtown area. Now we want to close streets. We want to stop the world. We need more police down there and all these different things. And, it really just insulted me to sit and listen to these arguments when, we've been fighting crime. We've been fighting for more jobs, a better education system in our community. And it seems like it just falls on deaf ears. But when it happens in the white community, all of a sudden now we have to stop the world, and we have these knee-jerk reactions and submit an order. It wasn't even a resolution or an ordinance. It was an order, basically ordering the Commissioner of Transportation to close this street, put up new lights, change locks, and do all these different kind of things. And it just insulted me. Because we're fighting these battles every single day. And so when they sent it to the Finance Committee, which that had no jurisdiction over closing streets.
That's what I wanted to get to.
It should have came directly to the Transportation Committee, but it didn't. They circumvented my committee because they knew I would have blew the lid off of this overreaction just because it happened in the white community. I want that same reaction. I want that same, the madness when it happens in our community. Give me the same results that you're giving other people in my community, and maybe you see the black and brown community turn around.
So, Alderman, now let me ask a question. I need you to help the listening audience understand why, if you're the chairman of transportation, would they put this in the Finance Committee? That doesn't seem to make sense.
Well, I think it was all, to, grab some headlines to make the people feel downtown, make them feel safe that, he's fighting crime and he's doing these things. But I would tell you, and I'm not, going against my colleague or anything. I'm just stating the facts. Okay. If I demand more resources, downtown has more police than any ward in the city of Chicago. You all know that. You drive down Michigan Avenue, you see 4 police on every corner. Okay? And to say you need more police presence, it was a slap in the face of everybody in the city council. And so that's what really set me off, when you're demanding more resources when you already have the most resources in the doggone city.
So, Alderman, Alderman, so on this show we try to ask, we definitely ask what's in it for the black people. And oftentimes our city council, particularly our black aldermen, have been called or accused of being rubber stamps. Do you feel, in the face of all the racial tension in the city with the police, contracts, the water department, etc., that black aldermen are starting to feel more emboldened to take public steps to address black issues?
Well, let me just say, I hope so. I was the first alderman a couple of weeks ago that stood up for the Department of Justice consent decree, because I believe we ought to demand that. And some of my colleagues are saying it's too expensive, or we don't need. I don't care. What's too expensive is the hundreds of millions of dollars we pay out every single year for police misconduct. So if we can pay that money out, we can sure pay a lawyer or a federal judge to oversee the police department to make sure that we right the wrongs that have been happening in our community. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to right the wrong. And we can't take a soft approach to this. We have to make sure we get that consent decree. And, we need to make sure that Jeff Sessions understands what the heck is going on here in Chicago, because maybe he just doesn't get it. And I said, send me to Washington, let me sit down and meet with Jeff Sessions, and let me plead the case for my community, because nobody else can plead it better than we can.
Now, Alderman, in the past you ran for Congress, but boy, you're sounding kind of mayoral. Are you thinking about taking the plunge? taking on the mayor? Because you know, it seems like we don't have anybody out there that's willing to stand up and fight for black folks.
Well, let me just say, there's no way that I am even looking or considering anything of that nature. What I'm trying to do is make sure we just open the eyes of the people in the black and brown community and let them understand that, number one, we have more power than you think. And if we stick together and stand up, we can turn some of these things around that's happening in our community. But if you continue to just sit and take it and make people make you think that they're doing something for your community and really, you know, they're not, we need to make sure that we stand up and as a unit and stand up for these issues that's hurting our community.
Hey, Alderman, this is Charles Thomas. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful, Charles. How you doing this morning?
I'm great. Hey, why not? Why would you not consider running for mayor?
Well, let me just say, you know, I have a lot that's going on here in the 9th Ward. There's a lot of great things that's happening. You know, we got the National Park. We're bringing jobs to the community. I have the state's largest indoor sports training facility that's in the, you know, under construction right now. You know, we're reducing crime in the 9th Ward. You know, I just asked the sheriff to come in to give me some more resources to make sure we continue the downward trend. You know, there's not, you know, there's a formula to reducing crime in our community. And the formula is to invest in education, give us more police presence, also create some jobs. And if you do all those things, you will see our communities turn around and crime will decrease. Give people something to do. Give them hope. Give them opportunity. And so if we start doing those things, then, then we won't have to have this discussion about who's running, who's not running, because those things will be happening in our community.
So, Alderman, you know, I heard you say black and brown. Unfortunately, it seems black folks have the highest unemployment in the city of Chicago as well as the state of Illinois. When we drive through our streets, we oftentimes only see the black guy waving and holding the flag. Do you feel, one, are you in support of Chicago being a sanctuary city? And secondly, do you feel that there is currently an existing black and brown coalition that we should be taking advantage of?
Well, you know what? No, there is not a coalition. What you have in the city of Chicago is every man for themselves. And that's what's going on. There's no coalition. Everybody is trying to protect their own interests, and that is one of the biggest problems with this city. There's no, reaching across the aisle, reaching across, racial lines to say, you know what, let's come together to do what's best for the entire city. When you look at, most of the time, you look at people on the news. Oh, this never happens in my community. In my community. This is one city. So if we stop, worrying about what's happening, in other communities just to protect my own, then you're going to continue to see this city segregated like it is. We have to break those things down and start talking about our city and stop talking, and if your community is safe and my community is having a problem, what's wrong with giving me some extra resources so my community can be safe? What's wrong with making sure, my community is well provided for because your community is already safe? Your community can't be more safe. If there's no crime happening, you can't have more or less crime. You know what I mean?
I got you. Alderman, sanctuary city. Are you supporting it?
Well, I believe we have some issues when it comes down to the sanctuary city. I was one of the only aldermen that voted against the municipal ID because I think that it's just pandering to one community versus the other. I disagree with spending millions of dollars on municipal ID that has no jurisdiction whatsoever. All you're doing is giving a person a card that says City of Chicago resident. What merit does it have? You can't get a credit card on it. You can't put a driver's license on it. You can't buy a house on it. So why are we spending millions of dollars on a sanctuary ID that really means nothing?
Because you can campaign on it and vote on it. But we'll talk about that when we come back. Alderman, you got me a little surprised over here. So we're going to continue this conversation. You hold on. We'll be right back after these messages.
More of the morning show with Mace Jackson coming.
I was in the city council meeting when he snapped about municipal ID, and he was the only black alderman who stood up and went against it. Period. He was the only alderman in general who did.
But he didn't say anything about sanctuary city.
Wait. Oh, right. Okay. So there, Charles, you got to come back to that question. You can come back to that one. I take right now, the way it is for black folks, I will take the resistance to the municipal ID because, quite frankly, ain't nobody saying nothing. Nothing. See, I think
people are campaigning on the municipal ID in the black community.
Right. Let me tell you what this. I don't even want to tell you what the sales pitch in the black community about to be. Oh my God. Okay, first of all, nobody got spun. I'm suggesting that we have very rarely in my last 15 years have I heard someone just openly go out like that. And I'm just telling y'all why y'all talking crazy. For him to take on Riley and Burke in city council, that's an issue. That's an issue. I didn't think it was a diss, sis. I don't think it was a diss, but it wasn't spin. It's like, what I'm telling you all is, you have to understand that this conversation for the people we're talking to is revolutionary in some cases. Now, you know, ain't nobody gonna get too far out in the boat, but I do think that was a good, all or nothing. See, that's that Democrat stuff. All or nothing means if we do, we can't. The art of politics is compromise. All or nothing is probably never going to be the case, which is what you are dealing with right now with the Trump stuff. What I'm suggesting is negotiate. Right now, prior to now, that just would have been passed and nobody would have even said nothing. They've been like, they want it to happen. Who's going to open... Black people need fun in the open.
Man, people love it when we hear these politicians on, you know. They love it. I mean, you know, I know that
they go all in.
The management wants to do this softball stuff, but our stuff goes up when we do politics. It just goes up. They like it. I mean, people want to see it. I mean, they get to. They look at Good Morning America and get to.
Charles, when you come back, I'm gonna intro Sanctuary City because we only got a few minutes.
Okay.
But go back and do the whole, right? Madam President, you remember this one? So far, the most classic moment on the Mays Jackson, on the WVON Morning Show with Mays Jackson and Charles Thomas. Madam President, what's in it for the black people? Remember this? Madam President, you have talked for exactly 2 minutes and 5 seconds, and you still have not answered the question. Now I'm getting a whooping. Now they want to whoop me. You asked the damn question.
You ask whooping.
Oh, in a second. Hard being reckless. Let's give it much as kicks it. Oh! Act most stupidly. Oh! You are tuned into the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. We are discussing overnight Ohio Street underpass closure touches racial nerve on the city council. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to 9th Ward Alderman and Chairman of the Transportation Committee, Anthony Beale. Alderman, Charles, you had a question?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our listeners on Facebook are saying that you did not answer the question on Sanctuary City. Do you support this notion that Chicago should be a sanctuary city?
Well, you know, it all depends, Charles. You know, I don't believe that the sanctuary city benefits our community, and I'm representing the black community in my ward. And I just don't think a sanctuary city really supports our community. It's not there to make sure that people in my community are provided for, and so I just don't see at this particular time that a sanctuary city benefits the black community.
Oh, so I will take that as a no. Alderman, it seems odd to me. I mean, why do you think there is this big press now to make Illinois a sanctuary city, even though it's going to cost us resources?
Well, you know, I think, when you look at it, I mean, a lot of people do come to Chicago. They do come to Illinois. And we have a lot of different race and ethnicities here in the city of Chicago, and we have, from what I understand, about 500,000 illegal immigrants here in the city of Chicago. And so, if those 500 people were in jeopardy, what would that do to our economy? So I think it's more of a dollar and cent standpoint than it is, trying to just make sure people are provided for.
But doesn't that artificially inflate the districting ward districting situation in the city?
Absolutely. 500,000 people is about 9 wards.
And that means that those people will be counted when it comes to our city's population.
Alderman, right? Don't you think that by allowing sanctuary city and as these people, as the undocumented immigrants come in, aren't you concerned that it will eventually displace you and your colleagues?
Well, as you can see right now, there is a shift in the dynamics. We lost a ward in the last remap. We went from 19 to 18. And you see right now, because of the crime and because of the education, you have people of color leaving the city of Chicago.
Black people.
People who are successful are leaving the city because they're looking for a better opportunity. They're looking for a better job. They're looking to make sure their kids can get a good education. And so until that trend is turned around, you're going to continue to see professional black people leave the city of Chicago.
Yeah, Alderman Beale, Ameshia here. I did notice that you said people of color are leaving, but by and large, the people of color that are leaving are black people. Chicago stands as the largest city for Latino immigration, population-wise, across the country. That is what we are. That is where we are. And if we're talking about pushing for this municipal ID, one of the main focuses when it comes to talking to the black community about it has been around what it can do for people who are recently released from prison.
Well, let me just say this. If a person is recently released from prison, they already have an ID.
What?
They can go to the Secretary of State and they can get a driver's license or they can get a state ID. So that argument to really slap us in the face saying, well, black people need it because you got more people coming out of jail is an insult to my intelligence.
So, Alderman, you done blew through my questions. I feel like, so Alderman, I guess my question is now, how do black people proceed? Well, let me back up, because you talked about us losing wards last time in the last remap, and so I think they're going to try and come and get more wards, but don't you think that they need to go after wards like 14 and 13 before they start taking? Why does it seem like it always comes out of the black pile? When they got to take something away, it's always like the black folks got to give it from the Latinos when white folks need to be giving up some too.
Well, that's because, unfortunately, the city of Chicago is still segregated. And you're going to always have where you're pitting one race against another. And we have to stop doing that. And if we come together and do what's best for the entire city, you will see the whole city represented. And so that's what we need to do, and quit just pitting one against the other, because that's, we see it every single day. Because right now they're trying to say, well, if blacks are against, sanctuary cities or blacks against municipal ID, that's pitting the blacks against the Hispanics. Whereas, and then you have, the whites sitting back in the cut, basically letting the blacks and the Hispanics fight it out. And who's losing? The blacks and the Hispanics. We need to make sure that every community is represented, every community is equal, and then you will see every community in this city stabilize, mobilize, and rejuvenate.
Last question, Charles.
You were very prominent in the fight against Uber. Are you in I told you so mode yet, given the problems Uber's having?
Well, Charles, let me just say this. When you look at what's happening with Uber, okay, and they're predicting by 2026 that there will be no longer people driving cars. There will be you will have packages delivered by drones. So UPS, FedEx will be out of business. And then you'll also have, because Amazon is going to take over all that. So all those, that's hundreds of thousands of jobs. Where are these people going to go? Uber, when they first came to the city of Chicago, we're here to create jobs. But they're the #1 funder of autonomous cars. So yes, temporarily they're going to be creating jobs. But in the long run, they're going to put those same people out of work. So we can't go for the okie doke when we need need to understand what's going on. You know, the cab industry, those were minority people coming to the community just trying to make a living. It paid the city of Chicago $360,000 at its peak for that medallion. Now you can't give that medallion away. So that means those people have lost $360,000 out of their household for their retirement and things like that.
Alderman, I got to stop you right there. But you know what? This has been such an interesting conversation. We got to get you to come in live. You got to come in and sit in the Lion's Den. But you also got to give us some more of this information. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM 9th Ward Alderman Anthony Beale. You know, I'm feeling good. Black folks starting to recognize what's in it for the black people. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. As we do every day, there's nothing I enjoy better than being with my family, which is the WVON listening audience. Ameshia, thank you for sitting in all day. You still bogus. Charles Thomas, you the man. Annette Flournoy, Sonia Escobar, and I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Until tomorrow, if you don't like it, you can tell them Maze said.
The talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation. 1690 WVON Chicago.
It's a radio show.
I'm Annette Flournoy, and here's one of the headlines we're tracking. An investigation is underway after a 13-year-old boy was killed in a shooting in the Washington Heights neighborhood last night. Network News now. WVON traffic and weather up next. WVON News. It's 9 o'clock.
Medical Association joining more than a dozen medical groups in opposing the proposed GOP Senate healthcare bill. Correspondent Jerry Boatland is following details in Washington. On the heels of a congressional budget office report that shows their bill.
He didn't fly in. He didn't fly in.
That was horrible. He's still dripping wet.
Child seat.
I mean, come on, man.
Right, we thinking like we about to get shit.
I'm thinking, man, they shooting again.
Is they shooting?
So what's the purpose of closing that under
Keep the niggas out. You niggas hang out after that. Well, at the end of the night, people go down there and sit, make love, have babies.
Well, what's wrong with that? They don't want y'all down there?
No.
Yeah.
What's up?
Go ahead.
They want you gone.
You got to go.
Got to go.
So,
all right, y'all. We out of here. Peace.
Them blacking out the White House for the press briefings.
For the who?
Press briefings.
I mean, I don't think they should. I mean, I think they should leave it open, but they have this war going on with the press, and
the press is losing.
Well, the press is losing, but the press took the bait. They took the bait, and now it's full-scale war. I mean, this is just one of their shots, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the whole thing is tragic.
It is tragic.
Shouldn't be that way. Shouldn't be that way at all. I mean, both sides are wrong. So the press took the bait.
All right, y'all. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Great show.
Thank you very much.
Poundy.
No, it's not your fault. Shoot. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. Another What's in It for the Black People moment. Let me grab my microphone. Check 1 2 1 2.
Don't forget your headphones.
Ooh, I'm definitely going to get my headphones.
Hair small. Where's your car?
It's across the street. Oh, I'm driving my wife's car right now. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Annette.
Bye, Meredith.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's Mark Wallace. He's going to save us from the red light
club.
He is going to save us from the red light cameras
by creating the voting block 10 by 10 to win.
Ooh,
we're gonna launch that.
I like
in about a week.
I like that. I like that.
Well, that's how we gonna. That's how we put a real voting threat together. I heard you all talking this morning about how we're gonna change these things.
Mm-hmm.
The way that we give the legislative power is we create a voting block to say, hey, This is the way you all have to represent us, or we have to get some people who.
Now let me tell y'all what y'all don't know is Mark got some Bahamian roots in him,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And them Bahamians, they go hard. I was reading the history. I was reading Uncle Luke's book. Learned a lot, man. Hey, man.
Luther Campbell?
Yep.
Luther Campbell used to work for me.
What?
Yeah.
Doing what?
He was a DJ. He started out as a street DJ.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You in the book? I'm gonna have to look, Mark.
Just ask him when you talk to him. Ask him about
He's
Mr.
coming on.
Skate.
Mr. Who?
Mr. Skate. He used to work for me at Super Skating Center in Miami, Florida.
I know about the skating center.
Yeah.
Damn. Look at that, man. Hip hop history.
No concept of anything other than that.
Go ahead. You on the camera. You on the camera. Talk to the people.
Talk to the people.
Talk to the people. I think we've been talking to you for 3 hours. This your man, Mace Jackson.
For
Look
3
at
hours.
the rip,
3 hours, man. I don't know, man. I think we may have ruffled some feathers this morning.
Charles did it.
No, I don't know.
Charles did it.
Today it was.
I'm telling you, I got these people talking free. They talking freedom.
Man, which pen I can use real quick? Huh? You got a pen I can use?
We talking about?
You got some freedom in that bag, black man.
There go the man. The man. There's the man. Y'all see the man? The man came in. That's the man.
Oh, I need a pen. I need a pen.
Oh,
Woo!
I got about
Swam all the way to Canada to work for the.
Oh, here's one.
I got it.
The man, all right. Anyway.
Hey, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. You know what I need to do? Because I did not. Let me tell you what you got to do so I don't miss out. Because I didn't see all y'all comments. So you know what I do? Since I need y'all to help me get to 1,000 subscribers, then we can keep the comments. But this is what I'm going to do right now. Show you how I'm going to fix y'all. So I'm going to go right here.
And I think Alderman Beale, man, did well, man. I mean, the last couple of politicians we had on actually did fairly well with us. I mean, they got their message out, and that's all. That's what's got to happen. I mean, right now, a lot of politicians will not come on the broadcast because they're afraid.
Charles, didn't they say something about they don't have to come on our show? They'll just go on Cliff.
Yeah, they want to go on Cliff because they think they're going to get an easier time there. I mean, that's neither here nor there. But, you know, they're slowly, I think, coming around.
They just know they got to talk about black.
They got to talk about black people, that's all. And that's no problem. And I think most of them, this is the best way for them to salvage their political careers, I think. I don't know what this Negro's doing, but this
24 carats said I'm being Bruno Mars right now. Cause y'all buy that, right? Y'all like when brothers dance. You want me to dance? Cause that's what people like. Black folk. Let me tell you. Somebody said, "Man, what was it?" Somebody said, "I was talking about a black issue," and somebody said, and I said, "We really need to leave this alone." And somebody said, "But they throw good parties, though."
Really?
And I was like, see,
yeah.
Damned if we do, damned if we don't. Hey, y'all, I appreciate y'all on the Facebook Live. I mean, not on Facebook Live. I do miss reading all my comments, but I'm telling you, this YouTube is going to be something.
This is YouTube?
Yes,
okay.
This is YouTube. I'm just letting y'all know.
Yeah, you can't hear the music. Man, people didn't get it today. They didn't hear the music.
You got to take the music out until we use original music or unless we get the license, right? Because YouTube will pull it down.
But we can get the license, huh?
Yeah, when we do ours, we will.
Okay,
we'll register for BMI. But y'all, remember, you know what? And I just need to say one more thing to y'all. Do y'all know how spoiled? Do you know how spoiled the Lion's Den has become? They was like, "Hey man, why you can't do two? Somebody buy me a new phone. I ain't got two phones. One in the low." They was like, he could do 2 broadcasts. Why he can't put Facebook Live up and YouTube? They just go so hard.
Well, you can.
Hey man, do you know how much trouble I'm having trying to manage this one? I'm trying to manage one, and you look. See. I'm not your super mace.
Well, we can do that.
We're gonna be on everything.
Technology. We gotta get some technology.
Thank you, Velda. I'm glad you love the show. Appreciate you. Anybody else out there? Who's still out there before I check out? I just want to say peace out to you. If you got something, shout out. Facebook Live had a better audience function. I think that'll grow, Kang. I think as more people use it, it'll grow. Who else? What up, KM? What up, Sonia Rodriguez? What up, Kang? What up, Raymond Hubbard? See y'all later. What up, Felicia Muhammad? Penelope. What up, Velda Howe? What up, Rob? Appreciate you, brother. Hey, y'all. Taste the WVON. What up, Dennis Evans? Peace out. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate your comments. We ain't going to hold that alpha stuff against you. What's up, Diane Scott? Appreciate you too, sis. Thank you all for sticking with us. Can y'all do me a favor before you check out? Can you take a moment and like the broadcast? Shout out to Kevin Brown. Hey, V-Ron, what's up? Hey, Amina. Amina, I appreciate you too. Thank you for keeping us up and giving us insights. Y'all need y'all back, man. We got to hold these people accountable. You know they trying to come at us. So I'm going to need some aid and assist, and one day I'm going to call you. What up? What's that, Philly Mac? What up, Felicia Simmons Stovall, Booker T, Big Papa? What up? All right, y'all. Looks like I'm about to wrap this. Peace out. It's all love. Hope all y'all enjoyed the show today. Thank you. Could you do me a favor? Tomorrow, can you share this broadcast? Can you share it with your friends? Can you take a moment, share it? We want you to tweet. We want you to Twitter. Then go on the WVON, the WVON website. Let's see how that goes. All right? We out of here. Peace.